quickly into space. Concepcion, blockers in front, and here he goes. KC says TD.
This is 365 Sports.
Final 30 seconds of the quarter. Second down throw to the end zone. Douglas. Touchdown, Texas Tech. What a drive.
365 Sports is presented by IdealMRI.com. High-quality MRIs for $497 or less. IdealMRI.com. Your health is important, so is your budget.
Sorsby the keep with a cut. Broken ankles. See ya.
365 Sports is also brought to you by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, protecting Texans since 1952.
Another first down for Vandy. Pressure off the edge. He steps up, and now he's going to run for the end zone and score. Diego Pavia.
Remember when you had a guy, someone who could fix anything? They're still out there at Batteries Plus. With their quick solutions and expert advice on batteries, key fobs, and phone repair, Batteries Plus will have you in and out and on your way in no time. Batteries Plus, the experts in charge.
Brown takes another shot. Wide open Koger. Touchdown, South Florida. 63 yards.
Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
Well, the Dragon is back. He's not 100%. He's been out a couple of 2 or 3 days. We had the break last week. Craig Smoak is in studio with us, and we have the stop clock on you. How you feeling, buddy?
Hello, everybody. I'm not feeling good. I'm feeling as good as I probably look right now. So not great, but yeah, I'm here, and I don't know how long I'm going to last, guys. I was hoping that by the end of the week would be feeling good and be ramped up and ready to go for Arlington tomorrow. And I don't know if that's going to play out that way, but I am excited about Tech and BYU and all the games coming up starting tonight, and at least popping in here for a little while, and we'll see how it goes here over the next few minutes. But yeah, I've been missing doing the show, all the stuff going on. All the stuff going on with the coaching carousel and everything. I've hated that I haven't been able to jump on and be able to talk about it with you guys.
Paul, we're going to watch him.
Yeah, and look, I admire him. He's not as bad as you are when it comes to walking into a room diseased. You know, you will, like, you'll be bleeding from all your orifices.
No!
And be like, I'm fine. I'm not contagious. And you're like, no, I don't want you to walk in here. But I do admire his gumption today, but I am worried about him.
I think Paul is wanting me to go because he does not want to get sick. And look, I don't blame you one bit. Like, that was my fear, is I was hoping by today I'd be feeling a lot better. And I don't know what kind of gunk I got, but I've been wondering if it's the newborn in the family. Like, you start getting Garrett can attest to this, the gunk that you just get. And I think maybe it's something to do with that. I don't know, or just all the Thanksgiving travel. But yeah, I got a case of the crud that I can't seem to shake, and I definitely don't want to pass it on to you guys, especially with what's going to be going down tomorrow, which is an exciting game and pregame show and all that'll be going on in Arlington.
Let me set the table, and Craig, you can stay here until you want. We want to just get some opinion on some of the stories that are out there. By the way, I think MBM 357, you got to throw away the cigarettes. When was the last time you smoked a cigarette?
Last time was over 5 years ago.
Yeah, I thought so.
Cold turkey, baby.
Knock that baby out, yeah.
Cold turkey, and read a little book that helped me, and I haven't touched anything like that in over 5 years. So all right. It's the crud.
From C. Jenkins right there with you, Craig. He's probably under the weather. Welcome back, Dragon from Bracket Cat.
Thank you.
You didn't miss much the last few days, but we missed you. So there's a lot of responses to see you, and we'll have you on. Let's discuss, first of all, here is, we will be live tomorrow, 9 until 10:30 at AT&T Stadium, thanks to Saving College Sports and also Edward Jones Financial Advisors, which is the name of the Big 12 football championship, with the local agents, with Ben Erlinson, Cam Heathcock, and also Brad Wilson. We're on live tomorrow, 9 to 10:30, and we will try to bring you the atmosphere. We'll let you see behind us. You'll see AT&T Stadium and more, thanks to the Big 12, Matt Enser, and that group for setting us up tomorrow inside AT&T Stadium. I'm excited. I'm pumped up. There's going to be a record crowd. Sold it out back 3 days ago or so. And it might be the largest conference championship attendance ever across the board.
Well, and here's the other thing. There's going to be some overflow at Globe Life because BYU's rented it out.
Yep.
And that's just wild to me because, there are – and I'll say this about one of the things I was most impressed with the first time I went to Norman was – and I had never seen this to this level before – was when I was walking into the stadium, there were so many people tailgating. And then I got in the stadium and I walked out on the photo deck and I looked and it's like the second quarter and there were still like it looked like the same amount of people tailgating. And when I walked out, they were all still out there. BYU fans are like that. Like, okay, well, I don't get a ticket to the game, but there's an event I can go to and I'll be with other BYU fans. I think that's awesome. I think that's great that you just go out there and be next to the game.
Well, if you can't go in, be a part of it on the outside of it. They do that at a lot of places. And S. Michael DeHart, by the way, Craig, we missed you, the Dragon. Glad you're back. Paul did you proud yesterday when he went off. We discussed some things when it comes to the SEC, et cetera, and he replaced you with a Dragon-like rant.
Well, Paul's great, so I'm not surprised he picked up the dead weight that I am right now. So, I'm glad to be back. I just wish I was feeling better, and I'm bummed out because it doesn't look like I'm probably going to end up going tomorrow because of how I'm feeling, and that sucks because, as you guys are talking about, it's going to be a scene, man. It's the record prior Texas-Oklahoma was 84 plus.
Yep, it's going to be they expect it to break, if not already, because of the tickets sold.
And I don't know if I ever mentioned this on air, but last week when this was sort of setting up and we had an idea for the few weeks prior to that this is probably going to be the game we were going to see, I had the thought cross my mind of like, I wonder if this will be the most attended ever. Like I didn't know off the top of my head what the Texas OU number was, but I felt like with these two fan bases and what this means to them, and the opportunity, BYU wandering through the desert of independence for so long, in a conference at times, but for the last several years being independent, trying to get back to a league and to have these types of opportunities. Like a lot of people say conference championship games don't matter. BYU will tell you, they won't tell you BS in that phrase, but they'll tell you, it means a lot to us. It means a lot to us because we waited a long time to play in games like this. And then for Texas Tech, a very proud program, a lot of just passion and history, and they have been dying for something like this for basically their entire existence. They've always been kind of second fiddle to Texas or to A&M, and even to an extent the last few years to TCU or to Baylor, right? Seeing them have all these successes, SMU even, making the playoff. And now here's Tech with their moment in the sun and feeling great about them being able to capture that moment. And so I love it for these fans on both sides. And I think it's great. I don't know that this is going to be the matchup. I see people already speculating because of Kalani Sitake. Like, that's one of the things I missed. Like, that's what sucked is I missed Sitake, Kleiman, Campbell, all this stuff going on. It's been driving me insane. But with McGuire locked down, Sitake locked down, and just the way these fan bases are so passionate, like that's going to be a freaking scene tomorrow. It's going to be so cool.
Yeah, there are a lot of things that they're going to be doing. We'll be there again live on the air for you if you want to tomorrow, 365 Sports from 9 until 10:30. So we'll do this first segment with headlines and more. Zach Barnett at 3:30, which will be great. The timing of how serious is the Penn State Matt Campbell interest. We'll have that in a moment. And then a couple of other coaching stories too. And I have a nugget or two on the Baylor AD search. Nothing is imminent that I can tell. I'm not going to use ESPN's imminent because that means like in the next hour or two. But they're out there. I know of some of who they've contacted or who they would like to maybe still talk to. But here is the conference championship schedule tonight. 4 games. Kennesaw State, Jacksonville State, Conference USA. The Sun Belt with Troy and James Madison. James Madison with a better than average, you would think, opportunity to be a part of the college football playoff, depended on the ACC or not. North Texas with an opportunity. They're on the road against Tulane, but favored. And then you have Boise State, Jeremiah Dickey, and the Broncos, their AD, and UNLV. Those are the 4 games tonight. Let's discuss then we'll get to tomorrow, and then get to more sports headlines as well.
Jacksonville State with first-year head coach Charles Kelly at the helm. Really impressed by what they've been able to do. They're kind of a coach factory right now. Somebody comes in like Neil Brown, then he goes to Troy, then you get Rich Rodriguez. Now he goes back to West Virginia. Charles Kelly, a guy I actually was never kind of pegged as a head coach, but has done a really good job there at Jack State this year. Cam Cook's been really good for them, former TCU running back as well. Kennesaw State, which was one of the worst programs in the country just a short time ago. That's the big story.
Yeah, it's a hell of a deal
about that one right there. So if you are looking for a reason to watch a game you normally wouldn't, it's two pretty interesting stories in that league there.
Yeah, James Madison losing their coach. I mean, like half the teams you just showed are losing their coaches, right?
Yeah.
But James Madison, heavy favorites despite that tonight against Troy. And I'm really looking most forward to North Texas and Tulane, feeling like North Texas or Tulane both. Does the winner get in the playoff, or is that North Texas feels like they get in the playoff, or does Tulane feel that way as well?
I think the winner gets in the playoff, and if James Madison wins and Duke wins, I think James Madison gets in because I don't think the committee can stand up and say that Duke should be ranked higher.
But they don't get in over North Texas or Tulane.
No,
you think the American winner gets in regardless?
I think the American winner has the inside edge.
Yeah.
Tulane's 21st in the country, and they're in the rankings. James Madison, don't give up on them because they still have an opportunity. You wonder, will they also then, with their coach leaving, Chesney, will that play a part of anything? But yeah, the American winner seems to have the inside edge. But if you look at the rankings where James Madison has climbed that table, I mean, who knows what? But the highest ranked G5 or G6, excuse me, James Madison is 25th. North Texas is 24th. Tulane is 20th.
Yeah, I mean, I think that American game is going to be fantastic. And obviously both these teams losing their head coaches, part of that grouping along with JMU that's losing. But, hey, JMU getting Billy Napier, I think that's I don't know how much you guys talked about that yesterday, but I think that's a really intriguing hire for them. And I'm curious what direction ultimately North Texas – well, I guess have they all filled? I'm sorry. I've just been told North Texas got Neil Brown.
Yep.
And then Tulane got it looks like Blake Baker probably, right, from LSU. Yep. So I know that's not official yet. But, yeah, I mean –
and then James Madison has Napier.
Well, that's what I said. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I said Napier. But, I mean, I'm really looking forward to North Texas and Tulane. I think that ought to be a hell of a game. I went back and forth on trying to pick that winner, and I think it's pretty close to call. So that ought to be a really entertaining one later tonight.
By the way, Bracket Cat is at the facility or where they're hosting the Colin Klein press conference. We'll get to that in just a second. He's going to give us a little bit of a note or two from there. But here is inside AT&T Stadium. Tomorrow we'll be there with that pregame show. 11:07, I think, is probably around the kick, making a masterpiece. You can see what they're doing with the field, with the logo. They'll have patches on the uniforms. Texas Tech and BYU will be front and center early tomorrow morning. And then front and center in Manhattan, Kansas, because of the story we followed now with Chris Klieman leaving and retiring. Colin Klein, one of the heroes of K-State football history, is coming back. He's going to finish out what he does too at A&M. Here's the introduction, and here is A&M wishing him thank you. And, of course, he will continue to be with A&M while in doing what he could do with K-State, but he'll continue to be a part of that as long as they continue to play.
I'm curious to see who Mike Elko gets to replace him on a permanent basis when he is gone. I mean, he's going to be there, for at least one more game that A&M's going to play. So that'll be interesting to see. Mike Elko's shown at Duke and at A&M a really strong ability to find up-and-coming assistant coaches or guys. He brought in Jay Bateman on defense, and I know that the A&M defense has been a little bit maligned here in the last couple of weeks. But the bottom line is, he brings in good coaches. He develops good coaches. I think that he's one of those guys who, is kind of a coach farm for people, and that's what he's going to do. But Colin Klein, I thought it would definitely be next year that he was going to be a head coach, but the minute Kansas State's open, they weren't going to sit on their hands and go, do you think he wants to come back? No, they were moving.
It happened fast. In fact, I think it even maybe caught A&M off guard how quickly, with Klieman retiring, which you saw some signs. We discussed his emotions, et cetera. but this thing flipped pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's one of those big stories that broke while I was gone. I was like, damn, I'd love to talk this because I didn't predict this was going to happen, but in so many words, I said that this was going to happen, right, guys? I mean, like I had talked a good bit about Kleiman, and I think the last time we talked about him, I said, I just don't think he's built for this anymore. Not that he's not a good football coach, but I don't think he's built for whatever's going on in his life. And then all of the stresses and the struggles of being a college football coach right now, it just seemed like it was wearing on him. And going back to last year, everybody knows kind of the timeline of last year towards the end, how he just sort of started kind of being super emotional. And there was a lot of rumblings back then about him retiring. And then this year being the ups and downs that it was. And then right before Thanksgiving, I mean, there he is crying and getting consoled by his athletic director following the close loss to who was that, Utah, right?
The blown, they had the big lead.
The close loss, and they should have won that game. And then he just was an emotional wreck after that. And you've got Gene Taylor going like, you're coming back. It's great. And I was just like, gosh, man, like, I don't think this is for him anymore. I think he needs to either retire or go into administration or go back to the Dakotas and coach football, where it's a little bit more simple compared to the K-State job or just D1 jobs in general right now. So was not shocked at all. I didn't say like this is definitely going to happen, but I pretty much figured we were heading this way sooner rather than later. And so for K-State to have an option like Colin Klein out there, like he could have been picked up for one of these other jobs or eventually he was going to be a head coach, but the timing of it with Kleiman stepping down and then Klein being right there, especially at this peak of A&M football, is just perfect for K-State. Shout out Bracket Cat for the reporting on the ground there. But yeah, I'm excited for the Wildcat fans out there because it's been a struggle these last couple years, and they're a proud program and they love their native son in Colin Klein. So I think there's just this rejuvenation you're going to see this offseason for K-State that's going to be really cool, much like with Oklahoma State.
Absolutely. So a lot of the jobs are filled, not all, because we'll get to one in just a moment, but there are rumors.
We might have to get to it pretty quick.
All right, well, here.
Let me see.
Kansas State, by the way, is at least discussing the opportunity to back out of their bowl game. Now, there was a report that they probably were. Brett McMurphy then said that has not yet been a decision, at least not official. Maybe they discussed that today. Considering all of its options, if KSU opts out, Rice is next in line. There were a couple of other reports about who would be next. So there we are with that. Owls are interested in accepting the bid if, in fact, it is available.
I mean, that'd be great for Scott Abel and his guys to be able to go play and have that extra time to practice and be a part of a bowl game. I'm sure they would be very appreciative of it, given they're not one of the bluey bloods that feels like, you know, bowl games are maybe beneath them at this point, or if they're not at a certain level, they're beneath them. I think Rice is a program who will be more than happy to go get those extra practices and all that comes with that. So that'd be cool if it does happen. I mean, obviously it's unofficial, but I think it comes down to the seniors, right? Like, what do the seniors want to do at K-State? Do they want to play another game and ride this thing on out? Would Kleiman coach in this game? I don't know if that's been talked about.
He'd have to do the
He said he was going to be around for about a week.
Yeah.
Okay.
He'll be hanging around. He's not like just all of a sudden disappearing, but I don't think he would.
So then, yeah, I mean, I would just default to my seniors, and with their record, they're not going to be going to some like super crazy bowl game. It'll just be kind of a middle of the road thing. But yeah, I would lean on those guys and see what they want to do. It's been a long year. I could see where some of them, I mean, there was a lot of K-State fans that didn't enjoy when they got bowl eligibility. They were like, damn, I don't really want to watch this team again. And as harsh as that is to say, that's just kind of the mood that was out there. Obviously, the Colin Klein news has kind of turned the excitement on its head now. But, yeah, I mean, I would default to the vets who only have this one more opportunity to play in a bowl game. And if they decide that they're done and they want to ride out the way that they did, then I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
A lot of those in the chat, we mentioned Bracket Cap, but others talking about who might replace if, in fact, Matt Campbell leaves. MBM said Jason Candle to Iowa State, and somebody else. Let's see.
That makes sense, yeah.
Well,
by the way, that Big 12 championship attendance, Paxton corrected us. It was Oklahoma State and Texas. The last year UT was in the Big 12, it had the 84,000 plus.
So today's top 5 may or may not be about the Iowa State replacements. And Jason Candle was one I suggested. He's got a really fun offense. He's been a really successful coach there. And not only that, where did Matt Campbell come from?
Where I forget where he's from the.
He was an FCS guy.
Well, he was Mount Union, but
Mount
he was
Union,
also at Toledo right before he
Yeah.
was
That's right.
at Iowa State. So
All right. So somebody mentioned this in the chat about the Big 12 takes all the bowl money, they throw it into a big melting pot like gumbo, and then everybody kind of gets it split up. And if they opt out of a bowl game and it goes to another team in another conference, it's not a huge payout, but it's money. And then you wonder, somebody said, well, does that Kansas State get a part of the pie after that money disappears? I don't know all that. That's complicated, but it's at least a legitimate question to look at it that way. Be careful about opting out, and here's why. I get if they do, because you never know when you're going to go back, even though you say, no, that's a done deal. Ask Nebraska. Ask some of those programs that used to make that like breathing. You never know when that might be next.
Well, thanks for correcting clarifying. It's Oklahoma State. I just had it in my head. It was Texas OU, but yeah, Oklahoma State back in 2023, 84,523, the total attendance for that game. But yeah, that's going to be incredible stuff tomorrow. And I guess we're going to talk a little bit more about Matt Campbell as we go along here. But as far as the bowl game goes, I think everybody probably has an opinion on it, and it probably does matter more depending on the finer details, like how much is that money important, whatever payout you might be receiving, and how is all of that handled if you elect to not go to one. And those are valid questions that go to show you it's not just as simple as like, yeah, we're going to go, or no, we're not going to go. That like you got to really look at all of the different factors that could play into that. And that's why I say like I would default to the seniors, unless it's just like got to have money, which they're not going to be going to a got to have money bowl game, but it might be $50,000 or something. And who knows, maybe they want all that money, but I would just default to the seniors because those are the guys that it's really important for. But you're right though. Like you don't go to one and then you take it for granted.
You just never know, even if it's like a distraction or you have this transition. And you hope that this doesn't send another trend like players opting out of games either. Here is the Penn State. Paul, what's the latest? I know that Matt Campbell, this came down yesterday evening, that I saw the report, Brett McMurphy, Pete Nakos and company, about Matt Campbell and Penn State. They're going after him heavy. Are they going to swing and miss again?
No, it doesn't appear that way, but there's a lot of people talking around this right now, and Penn State might have kind of sent out the white smoke that they have their man. Football Scoop is saying that. Yeah. But nothing official yet from Penn State. Or from this, but it's a lot of people are talking kind of around it like it's all but done, but we'll see in a few minutes, I think.
Yeah. There's been a lot of signs pointing to this being the outcome, but there are a lot of signs pointing to Kalani Sitake being the outcome, right? It felt like that was just about a done deal there for a second. So, I guess we'll wait and see how this kind of unfolds over the next, you would think, 24 hours. They're going to have to Esther get off the pot when it comes to him making a decision, and if they need to turn their attention elsewhere. But I think Matt Campbell makes a lot of sense. I think he'd be a great hire. I think it'd be super unfortunate, obviously, for Iowa State, given how much they love him and what he's done for that program. But yeah, don't count your chickens before they hatch. Penn State fans should know that as well as anybody after the last few days. But I think, given their situation, it would be as good of a hire as they could come up with at this point.
And this is,
and if not,
like one that continue. If they don't get Matt Campbell, then who's next?
Well, my question, and if not, then I don't think Matt Campbell's ever taken another job unless like Ohio State opens up or something. He's turned down other stuff previously, so it would lead you to believe that if he's going to turn down Penn State, then there's like maybe two jobs out there that he's going to take in the Big Ten. It'd be like Michigan or Ohio State, something along those lines. So he's been super loyal. I don't think anybody would blame him if he decided to leave at this point in his career. Many thought he would leave for years and years prior to this, but he's stuck around, and I hope he sticks around in Ames. I think it'd be great for that program, but at some point Penn State's got to hire a coach, and so we'll see if it's him.
All right, 2 or 3 other coaching stories, and then we will break for Zach Barnett, and he's going to give us an update with Football Scoop on what's going on. We also today's show will have Pat Smith, 3-man front from the Southeastern Conference perspective. Riley Nelson, former BYU quarterback today, and also Blake Horvath, the Navy senior quarterback next week is Army-Navy. And then we'll have the big finish with Paul's Top 5 and so much more. The poll results, in fact, Andrew's already put up a poll from earlier today on the Ohio State and Indiana game. Alex Mortensen. This guy's come up pretty quickly. Is going to be the new UAB head coach, replacing Trent Dilfer. Mortensen has been a hot name and has kind of come through this. This is probably a perfect place for him to start, and he is now the replacement for Trent Dilfer. That happened quite some time ago.
Yeah, UAB's been through the ringer with their football program in multiple ways over the last several years, and Trent Dilfer really did not handle that job well and did not do a good job for UAB. And I think that Alex Mortensen is not a guy that necessarily has you popping fireworks, but I do think that he's clearly got a love for UAB. He's a guy on the come up and did a good job at handling the interim role. So, I think it makes sense from their standpoint. And their school too is how much can you expect as far as splashiness, right, when it comes to a hire? But the familiarity's there, so that makes it just a logical move to make. Not sure what the rest of their candidate pool looked like, but I'm sure Chris is very proud, Chris Mortensen. And
absolutely,
that's got to be really cool for him to see this become official and just 40 years old. So I'm sure we'll be talking about him if he has success here for various other jobs over the next few years.
Here's one of the note, by the way, of the UAB coaches in the history of that program. They've had a few that, made decent. First of all, Watson Brown, that's Mac Brown's brother. Bill Clark was really good. He was in and out, had a pretty good run with them. Then they didn't play in 15-16. Remember, they got rid of the program. Then Bill Clark came back pretty good. But then Bryant Vincent, Trent Dilfer, and now Alex Mortensen, who had been there since 2023, was the interim when Dilfer was fired.
They are a mess of a sports program. I mean, they really are. And it's unfortunate. They have very passionate fans down there. I think it's well documented. Birmingham, like the number one college town in America as far as TV ratings for college football and just passion. So it's there, but they've just beaten their fans down so many times over the year, canceling the football program at one point. It's well documented, and then Dilfer was just awful for them. So hopefully Mort Jr. or younger Mort can revive some of that, but it's going to be easier said than done.
And his father died a year and a half ago, an unbelievable contributor to ESPN, their NFL. We had him on, one of the nicest people that I think I've ever interviewed, who was an analyst and covered the NFL.
Yeah, I didn't mean to phrase that to imply that he was still around. He's smiling down, if you will, happy for Alex.
I bet it's a hell of a day for him looking down at his son, Alex. And then I don't know, what is the latest, Mr. Garrett, on a guy that you loved at LSU, not anything else there, and Blake Baker? Is he headed to Tulane?
All signs are pointing to that. I haven't seen anything to confirm it yet, but that was their top target. It would be a great fit for them. It really sucks from an LSU perspective because that was really about the only thing positive you had going. But they were able to, from LSU, they were able to lock up two of the top defensive linemen today, so they won't be following him. But if he does get that job, congratulations, he's earned it. But from LSU perspective, it sucks.
Yeah, they really like Blake Baker down there, but it's a move that makes a lot of sense for him. It's a great job. Obviously, Willie Fritz did incredible there, and then you had Summerall right after him, although it was a very short stint. So that's a good job, and that'd be a good hire for them. But yeah, I bet LSU can't have everything, Garrett. Sorry, they can't have all of the cake and eat it too. But God, I'll tell you what, that Lane Kiffin stuff, that was like 4 days ago. That feels like 2 years ago to me. Right? Like that feels like all the stuff that's happened since then. That seems like forever ago. And we'll see on that. But I do think Blake Baker's a logical, good hire for Tulane on paper.
Willie Fritz, Mac Brown, John Summerall, Bob Toledo, who ended up being a part of UCLA and was an offensive mind, who have been a part of that program before. Who am I missing? Greg Davis, who was at Texas, remember, the offensive coordinator. I tell you, a guy that was pretty popular, but he didn't win a lot. They were terrible. Was Buddy Tevens? He's a old LSU name from
Tommy Bowden.
Tommy Bowden, who had they had a run with Tommy Bowden where they were a part of the possibility of playing for a national championship. Never got that chance. They were very, very good. All right, when we come back, we'll ask Zach Barnett about Tulane. We'll ask him about Matt Campbell, Iowa State, Penn State. We'll ask him about the other jobs that have been filled and what else might be next. Craig's going to hang around for another segment.
We'll see.
You are. You're going to go until an hour. That's part of the minimum requirement. This is.
If not, hey, good luck to BYU and Texas Tech tomorrow. Check out the pregame show and hopefully stop by and say hello to the fellas if you run into them. And I wish I could be there, but just the timing sucks.
You're going until 4.
All right.
Mucinex is right next to you. When we come back, we'll have Zach Barnett, then Riley Nelson and more. A lot to get to, and Pat Smith too. This is 365 Sports. About the last time I think I ever told him what to do. It's been a while since I didn't tell him, but he's going to be hanging around a little bit. If he doesn't, great to see you, Craig. I hope you do get better over the weekend. And then there's pettyclinicalot.com. Speaking of which, he's sick. He's got something going on like a lot of people do, but maybe you aren't sick. You don't have a fever. You don't have anything like you're blowing snot bubbles and all that kind of thing, but you don't feel right. It is not because you have the flu or anything else. You just aren't feeling well. And that could be the testosterone level inside of your body. Guys, I'm talking to you. 1 out of every 3 to 4 men have symptomatic issues of low testosterone, and it's not just ED or sex drive or performance. It could be your energy, and that is the fuel for you, your testosterone. So maybe, okay, what do you do about it? Contact Dr. Kent Petty and his staff at pettyclinicalot.com. Tell them I sent you, and they will set you up to get your blood work. They will set you up to get your blood work, take care of that, get the results, get back in touch with you. And if your testosterone level is too low, they can put you in a program to increase your testosterone level so you can be the high-performance man that you want to be, need to be, and used to be at pettyclinicalot.com.
Batteries Plus has teamed up with the Dallas Cowboys as the team's official battery recycling partner. Batteries Plus doesn't just sell batteries, they recycle them too. Customers can bring in all lithium batteries from power tools, power banks, and small electronics for a chance to win Cowboys tickets, a VIP experience, and more at qualifying locations. Batteries Plus, the experts in charge.
Go-to guy, can you fix my smartphone?
Yes.
You have car batteries?
Yeah.
What about golf cart batteries?
Of course.
Battery from a G-Fob?
Absolutely.
My boat?
Huge variety.
Toy boat?
Sure.
Motorcycles?
You bet.
My apartment building?
Whole building.
Do you have batteries for my party lights?
Yeah.
Batteries Plus, the experts in charge.
Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com.
Golfballs.com carries the latest selection of golf balls, clubs, and gear from brands such as Titleist, TaylorMade, and Callaway. Golfballs.com remains the world leader in golf customization. And of course, online at golfballs.com.
UBO Business Services. We are a studies-based service organization that is the best in Texas when it comes to copiers, printers, and scanners. The way we quantify that is through a company used by millions of corporations called Net Promoter Score. What Net Promoter Score looks at are your Google reviews. We have a better Net Promoter Score than H-E-B with a 65 and Ritz-Carlton Hotels with a 70. According to Net Promoter Score, if you're a 70 or above, you're considered world-class in customer service. UBO Business Services is an 86 when it comes to Net Promoter Score. You can find us at ubeo.com, ubeo.com.
You don't want to miss our best price deals during the Black Friday sales event at Allen Samuels. This month, you can save big on the truck you've been looking for, like the new Rams. Designed to be durable, functional, and stylish, Ram trucks give you that first-class feel. With premium options like luxurious leather trim seating, surround view cameras, and more. Shop our great selection in-store or online today. Allen Samuels in Waco.
Come by. Let's be friends.
Did you know that 1 out of every 4 men have symptomatic low levels of testosterone and don't even know it? And if you think you're too young to worry about it, guess again. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, raise your cholesterol, and cause weight gain. Petty Clinical Low T can set up same-day blood screening and results. So if you're tired of being tired, call or go online at pettyclinicalot.com. It's a private clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Affordable, only $165 a month, including lab work, office consultation, testosterone injections, and follow-up visits, compared to $300 or more a month in Dallas or Austin. And you don't have to drive 90 miles one way or the other and fight the traffic. Petty Clinic Low T has board-certified physician consultations and will provide the best form of brand strength testosterone. Contact Petty Clinic Low T for increased energy, improvement in sexual desire, and performance. Move
mood, concentration, even a decrease in body and belly fat. Just off Highway 84 and Old Hewitt Drive in Woodway, PettyClinicLowT.com.
It's football season, and we can create your outdoor tailgating spaces that is actually a part of your home. Bifold doors that tie in the inside and the outside, and you can gain anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 square feet living space, all while taking in the big game, poolside. Call us at Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath, where we can create your unique tailgating space.
You got batteries for my side-by-side?
Yes.
Replace my flashlight?
Sure thing. What about my business?
Oh, good one.
100%. Batteries for my fleet of trucks?
Gas floor scrubbers?
Yes, and fire panels. We have pallets of batteries.
Well, what about...
As your go-to guy, if it needs a battery, we have it.
Well, that's all you had to say.
Could have led with that.
Batteries Plus, the experts in charge.
This is 365 Sports.
The 3 o'clock hour is sponsored by Waco Custom Marketplace. Meats, sweets, Texas treats, and a cut above the rest. 425 Lake Air Drive, Waco.
Man, the coaching carousel, obviously the college football playoff, a lot of things that are going on. Zach Barnett joins us, Football Scoop, in the middle of all of it. Has this been the busiest stretch you can ever remember, even though there are surges at times?
Yeah, I think it certainly is up there. I can't sit here and say definitively, but man, it's been the type of week where you find yourself thinking, oh yeah, Auburn's open. Oh yeah, Penn State's open. You know, it's been that type of cycle.
So how long do you think, much longer, will we have to wait to hear about Matt Campbell?
I think it is. I think it's just about done. That was what we were hearing. We had a good source that was highly involved there. They were confident this morning. So I'd be very, very surprised. I mean, at this point, if you are Penn State, considering the way the search has gone and you have your guy that's agreed, I think it'd be interesting to think what Matt Campbell wouldn't ask for that they'd have to say no to at this point. Considering the amount of leverage that he probably has over that search.
Paul, what was the question you asked? If Matt Campbell doesn't go to Penn State, then where does he go?
Where do they go?
Yeah, exactly.
Or where does he, yeah.
Well, no, Penn State, but I mean, if he doesn't take the job at Penn State, because that's good for Iowa State if he doesn't, but if he doesn't take that job, how many others are bigger than that?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's been certainly waiting on one of those big four in the Midwest, being Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame, and as an Ohio Mount Union kid who coached at Toledo, I have to think Ohio State's probably his number one. I mean, you can make an argument that it's the best job in the country, so it should be everybody's number one. But Notre Dame's. Well, Notre Dame, we'll see on that. There's been rumblings that Michigan might come open, so we'll see on that. But you can't certainly bank on those. So, and then at the same time, if you're at Iowa State for a long time, it's probably only a matter of time before they get bored of your own success and start wondering why they're not winning the Big 12 every single year, even though they are Iowa State. So I think it's right job, right time for him.
Your North Texas Mean Green brought in Neil Brown to replace Eric Morris. I really like this hire. I think that he has shown, especially at the G6 level, his ability to be an innovator. West Virginia, probably not a fit for him, but a guy who offensively, I don't think is too far from Eric Morris when it comes to developing players.
Yeah, it's funny because he's the third straight North Texas head coach with ties to Texas Tech. Although, through no fault of his own, he was there for the time that Texas Tech fans just agreed to pretend never happened because he was Tommy Tuberville's offensive coordinator. But he was there. This is no fault of his own, but I think it's a downgrade from Eric Morris in that you're not just going to be able to dial up 11 yards every single you want because you are the premier quarterbacks coach in college football at this time. That's not Neil Brown's fault, but, I mean, you watch North Texas – that Temple game, it looked like they had 8 players on the field defensively because it was just Caleb Hawkins had his pickup gaps. And then it was just simple dig routes that were catch and run for 70 yards. So I don't expect that to continue, but there's no reason North Texas can't be one of these perennial contenders in the American. You've got great facilities, great location. The support is better than it's been. So I think they can keep it rolling. Will they be best in class and be turning ninth grade B team quarterbacks into NFL prospects? Probably not, but you could still win 9-10 games a year.
Is there any doubt in your mind that Morris will end up bringing about 6 to 8 starters from Denton, including the quarterback? Because that's one of the things you and I talked about this, is that if you get Jared Mosley as your AD, if you're Baylor, you also then get Eric Morris, Mestamaker, Young, et cetera, keep Hawkins and all the others, or you think you would.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Mestamaker, and I'm sure you're going to field offers from you name it in the Power Four, but we know what the NFL thinks of Eric Morris quarterback. So you're best off staying right where you are. Caleb Hawkins is a Shawnee, Oklahoma kid. North Texas was really the only school to recruit him. So I have to think someone else would have to absolutely knock his socks off to get him to leave that staff and leave Oklahoma State, assuming he goes there. Wyatt Young was a Katie Tompkins quarterback that they turned into an all-conference receiver. Have to think he's loyal to Aaron Morris. But, I mean, it's not just Oklahoma State that's going to be after these guys as well.
What do you think about Brian Hartline to USF?
You know, I was going to make the joke that the rest of college football would pay Penn State to hire Brian Hartline just to get him out of Ohio State. So I think it's a great hire. Obviously, we'll have to see how he hires and if he continues to call plays. But, I mean, if he is 40% successful as a head coach at South Florida, as he was a position coach at Ohio State, then they're going to be in the playoff and winning conference championships, and he'll be off to bigger and better things in 2 to 3 years. So I think it has all the makings of a really, really good hire. That's a program that, from what I was told, spends more than anyone else in the American and in NIL. That's a program that they're in the process of building an on-campus football team, so they're not certainly going to downshift in investment in football anytime soon. And he was there for Urban Meyer. He was there under Jim Tressel. He was there under obviously Ryan Day. So he's seen how to build a program up close, and he's lived it for close to 20 years now. So I think it's a great hire for South Florida.
Zach, you put Football Scoop had out the finalists for the General Manager of the Year. Obviously, that was not something there was 2 or 3 years ago. Now there is. You have James Blanchard, Texas Tech, Cole Hurd from Tulane, A&M's Derek Miller, Barton Simmons, Vanderbilt, and Matt Wilson at Indiana. Blanchard's gotten probably more ink out of that than anybody, and what we see with Texas Tech. Just cool to have that as even an award that was not there just 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, and it's as somewhat for me, certainly it's a collaborative effort, but I kind of do the due diligence on choosing these awards, and it becomes so interesting because it's like when you're trying to honor the wide receivers coach of the year, like A&M. Obviously, they had a great year on offense. So you ask yourself, is this a wide receiver coaching credit for the transformation, or did the personnel office just go out and get 2 dudes in Concepcion and Craver, and they made everyone else look better? So finding the line right there can be difficult. But, I mean, certainly find me a program in college football that's not killing it in the portal that's going to compete for championships. I mean, even Ohio State and Oregon go there. So the best of the best go there, and obviously Texas Tech. Indiana, Vanderbilt would not be anywhere close to where they are without really good people in their personnel offices.
The reason Ohio State won the national championship last year could be, the combination of elite recruiting is the combination of getting guys like Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate and all of that, plus going in when Caleb Downs puts his name in the portal, he doesn't go anywhere else. Right. So, they can do that maybe to a lesser level as far as volume goes, but getting good portal players is really the only path to winning right now.
And I mean, you talk about evaluating players. There's just an ocean of guys. If you could be a Division II quarterback and in one season go take an SEC team to the college football playoff. So to have that eye for talent of, all right, this SEC transfer can't help us, but this FCS and Division II guy can. I mean, I really admire what those guys do. The volume of information that they have to process in a short amount of time, I think would stun any one of us.
Zach, Baylor in the AD job. Jared Mosley, again, we brought that up. There are others that everybody would like to have seen them contact, and they probably have, and it seems like they have with Ren Baker and Jeremiah Dickey, who's got a game tonight. There was a little smoke out there about Hunter Yurachek. I don't know. I've been told that might be just a smoke. But anyone else on your plate or anyone else that comes to your mind, I would think, have to have somebody hired in the next 2 to 4 days.
I'm interested in your opinion. Why is that timeline? Where did you come with that one? I'm just curious.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know why? Because it's just been a rudderless ship. Now, I know Dr. Livingstone's been doing a lot of the work, and sometimes people are like, why is she calling people to try to get a hold of the recruits? Well, I thought at least she's doing something, right? I mean, other than what they have at Randa. I just feel like I just think they need somebody who's going to be the AD, not the president, even though depending on who you ask, she's either done a good job or not. I think you have to have somebody who's the leader and makes this next hire and not someone outside of that. That's my deal. It's like you have a boat in the ocean and the sails are torn. And if you have an AD, at least you have somebody who could pick up a row and start rowing it to where it needs to go.
You know, I know Ren. Got to know him when he was at North Texas. Have not spoken to him about the Baylor job, so I'm not trying to put words in his mouth or speak for him in any capacity. But I can say he is a professional AD. He is an AD's AD. And he has grown with the job, started as a director of basketball operations and at the D2 level. Is now obviously in the Big 12, intimately familiar with Baylor sports, being at West Virginia for these past few years. So if he's the guy, I struggle to think of anyone that Baylor could go get that would be better than him.
I also wonder, sorry, Paul, I get the feeling that, he hadn't been there long. He's from Oklahoma, so that makes sense. And, of course, there was the connection with Mac when he was at Missouri. But I get the feeling that he's already, this just happened for him at West Virginia. And I would think that the family and Ren probably would like to put down some more roots before and it might be a timing thing.
I will say if you look up his Twitter, and yesterday morning he tweeted the view from his back porch when he woke up. And I will say the Waco does not offer views like Morgantown does. So the compensation package would have to account for that.
Yeah, I think that it would be a nice choice. It'd be a great choice, but I don't think that will be a part of this hire.
Zach, I also think that it would just serve them well to really think outside the box of maybe the Mac Rhodes tree. Not to knock Ren. I would love it if Ren came back here or any of those other guys. But, I don't think it's going to be Jeremiah Dickey. He just got a big extension at Boise State. He's bringing them into a new league. That's an exciting challenge. Part of it is what are you offering me? I'm about to take a team into a new league, or I could go back to where I was and help clean up a mess. I do think that, thinking outside of just, okay, well, who could come here the fastest? Who knows how it works? Sometimes you need somebody to come in like they did with Mac and take the whole thing right at the beginning and shake it out like a rug and then see what happens.
Yeah, and another question that any AD has to answer is every single one of them is going to be asked is, how are you going to get us access to new money? Because it never gets cheaper to run an athletics department, and there's only so many times you can go back to the same people and ask them for more and more money. So avenues to new revenue streams are certainly going to be valued. You need to have a good answer there. But at the same time, you can't just go get a business guy because look at what Tony Petitti's done to the Big Ten. So I think someone that understands what college athletics is for, the purpose of it, but can also for those new avenues for new money, that's your unicorn candidate.
Yeah, they have. I asked somebody that handles the NIL, do you have enough of the young donors, the ones, and I mean, not, people will donate their money, but do they have enough of the young guys, the young rich donors? They have a lot, because I've always said it, Baylor's, I was told this immediately, they always have the money they need, but I wonder if there are enough newbies. What is it, Craig's deal again?
New booty.
New booties.
The fourth time in 2 days I've had to
I know. That have that kind of, that want to, and maybe even sometimes they can be a little bit over aggressive or a little bit, but they need that. I was told they had it, but I think that they need, like you said, they need some scratch. They got that roster is $10 or $15 million behind everybody else. It seems like most everybody else at this particular time. It is. It's been interesting. What do you know about Tommy McClellan at Rice? He was at Vanderbilt. He's been at La Tech. What about his resume and where he stands? He's at Rice. I'm not trying to say he's not, but what do you hear about him?
To be honest with you, I do not hear a whole lot. I have not spent a lot of time in the Tommy McClellan land within college athletics. So unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot for you there.
Okay. I bring that up as just a name that just kind of was, no one said he's applied or they've even contacted him. But I'll say this, though, Zach. You know that Dr. Livingstone's been taking an enormous amount of heat, right? One, for extending Aranda, and then also just because. But I did have an AD that I'd known a long time that said that in the coaching or in the athletics business of college sports, that she has an impeccable reputation and is very well respected. Now, I know some Baylor fans going to say, screw that, but I have heard that. So you would think that she does have a pretty good list to go by.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at the amount of success that Baylor has had in the name sports. And I'm not just talking football, but in men's basketball. But the amount of success that Baylor has had, the brand has completely transformed in the past 10 years, 15 years, and the new facilities, the new basketball arena, that all of that, in addition to winning and the facilities, the location, it screams that these people given us and they know what they're doing. So that of itself is going to be attractive to people.
Zach, thank you, man. Good luck chasing all of this down with some that are about to be filled, and then that means somebody else is going to be open. Colin Klein and K-State. They're introducing him right now at one of those arenas. What a nice hire for them. That was is there ever been a more no-brainer than that one?
No, it's funny. My sister is married to a K-State grad, so they're all Wildcats now. And she's been texting me about this, like, what's going on? Is this going to get done? The AD said he didn't even have his phone number. What does that mean? I'm like, it's fine. If you know about it by now, the people wouldn't have let it out if it's not. She's like, don't they have to post it? I'm like, no, they made a phone call. He said yes, and then that was the search right there. Like, it's going to be great. Yeah, and you don't have anything to worry about.
Yeah.
All Gene Taylor has to do is say, hey, Chris, I know you're retiring. I don't have Klein's number in my phone. Can you shoot that over to me?
You could text Bill Snyder.
Yeah, exactly.
or any K-State fan. By the way, they're having the ceremony now. Bracket Cat, who's a viewer of our show, just sent me an updated picture of I think it's the Morgan Family Arena, whatever it is, but they're having a fun time in Manhattan, Kansas. Zach, thank you, buddy. Appreciate your time and all the knowledge of what's going on right now in college athletics.
Sounds good. Anytime.
Zach Barnett. Bracket Cat, by the way, Brandon and Garrett just sent me a new picture. He said they were playing his highlights from 2012. Bracket Cat's at the introduction. Sorry, Paxton, but they're one of them beating Texas to lock up the title. That was the year they were number one in the country. Am I right? Mm-hmm. And they came to Floyd Casey Stadium.
No,
2012.
Oh, yeah, 2012.
There was no such thing.
Yeah.
And Baylor's defense, of course, had been a wreck for the first half of the year, gave up 70 to West Virginia, I think 56 to Texas, and they had the big goal line stand with Colin Klein and beat them up that game. But that was one hell of a Kansas State team when he was the quarterback. One of my favorite Heisman Trophy, and I didn't become a voter till well after that, but Heisman Trophy, what would you say, mail-outs. Remember what it was, Paul?
Yeah, it was a Band-Aid.
It was a can with a Band-Aid on it.
Of Band-Aids, of Colin Klein Band-Aids, because, that was really cool. Of course, I don't get any of that stuff because I'm sure there's some 90-year-old guy who only votes for quarterbacks, but here I am begging the Heisman Trophy for a Heisman vote. I vote for literally every other award except for that one.
Garrett, Would you please, if you don't mind, because we got a whiner, you're just flat out begging.
I really want a Heisman vote so bad. I want it so bad.
Okay, well, there's a lot of times when materialistic things as you're younger become not that big of a deal, but I'll never forget when Robert Cessna contacted me by email and asked me, Garrett, if I would be a part of it. And I think other than getting the call from the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame, as far as professionally, I almost melted. That was a huge deal.
I don't think there's an honor bigger than that, though.
No, it's not in college football media, like being part of the group that gets it. And I love that Smokey has one. I feel like I would do a really good job with it. I take my awards voting very, very seriously. It's not something that I just kind of fly by night and do. And, I really think about it when I'm able to, when we have the opportunity to make nominations. I often will nominate someone from outside the box because I do think they deserve recognition. And I don't know, these things are all kind of done on online forms, so I don't know how they go, but I do like being a part of it. And when I see one of those people that might be from a smaller school that gets at least on the list, the semifinal list or whatever they send us, I feel a little swelling of pride that I've done some work. And I keep all the voting, whether it's Bolitnikoff or Bednarik or whatever. I'm just going right by you there. And I keep all those votes. It goes into an inbox. You know how I am with those folders. Mm-hmm. And then when they release them, I try to, match them up. And for the most part, I think I do pretty well. The Bolitnikoff Award with the kid from USC, and then there was Jermaine Smith, Carnell Tate, and I forgot. There's one other bad, a wide receiver that was a part of that. But let's see, Jeff Ward, let Paul have your vote this year. No, he's going to put Diego Pavia because he's Italian. Is he?
He has a vowel at the end of his name.
Well, he could be Hispanic. I don't know many Italians named Diego. Just saying.
Man. Jeff Ward also brought up, I bet that when they introduced Colin Klein.
He's Hispanic.
When they introduced Colin Klein, they did not use the highlights of the game at Floyd Casey Stadium. It was a beatdown that day.
His mother's family's from Spain. His father's family's from Mexico. So.
Yeah, I don't know. He has a vowel at the end of his name. I always thought that's what you told me.
That's a good starting point. Like you're not going to see a lot of Joneses, but the cemetery in Bryan, Texas, where my father and a lot of my family is buried, is delineated by Catholics and Protestants, but it's more delineated. Like the Catholic side is all Italians, and the Protestant side is a bunch of Smith and Joneses and. Like I think our side, the left side of it,
Lee's and
the left side of it really does smell like garlic.
Yeah,
like it really has a nice little robust, feel like somebody's making sauce.
Somebody mentioned the Bolitnikoff fatal Gator said Amika Agbugba. He's in the NFL. Yeah, he's really good too. A lot of you saying he's Mexican, but whatever. He has a vowel at the end of his name. I'll say he's Italian if I want.
They also do that.
He's got a little bit of that Italian asshole in him, doesn't he? A little bit. Yeah.
Well, he's from his mother's family's from Spain, which is quite close to Italy. In case people didn't realize that, so it's not that much different.
I can't believe you've never been to Italy.
It's coming up soon. My mom and Amanda and I are going to go to Italy soon.
Well, where she's can you at least let me know what the dates are so I can
tell you? I don't know what they are yet either.
No, but I want to go.
You want to go?
I'd love to go to Italy.
Yeah. You know what? Let's get everybody.
Here's what I could do.
Wouldn't you love to do a show from like Tuscany?
Yeah, I would. All right. So, Brandon, do you have that picture that I sent from Bracket Cat? Here's the picture at the Morgan Family Arena where this was earlier. There was an updated one. So this is earlier and starting to get pretty packed. And they are right now already introducing Colin Klein. We need to watch the Matt Campbell story because man, has he been good for them. At times, maybe in recent years, people have expected more, but what he's done with that program made him relevant. Like Bill Snyder, not quite, because Snyder had him on the edge of playing for the national title in '98, but what Bill Snyder did not once but twice at K-State, and losing Matt Campbell, they'll find somebody else, but at the same time, that would be that would be a kick in the groin.
If I told you 10 years ago that Iowa State would go 8-4 in 2025 and be sad about it.
Say that again?
If I told you 10 years ago they go 8-4 in 2025 and they would be very sad about it. And that Penn State wanted their head coach, although clearly not the first choice, but which I hate to say for Matt Campbell because I really like him, but they're at that point now at Penn State that they would be disappointed. I think you'd be shocked because 8-4 was, if you went to Ames, Iowa, and you told them about like, hey, if you guys went 8-4, what would that feel like? They're like, oh, that would feel like my wedding night. Like that would be unbelievable. It would just be glorious. The day my child was born, the best meal I've ever had. Christmas morning, all rolled into one feeling at 8-4. And now here they are at 8-4 going like, you know, I can be better.
That's what's great about Indiana. What Texas Tech had teams, but they never played for a title before. Conference championship as far as in the Big 12 since 96. That's what I like about the new blood that is at least scratching the surface and trying to get past to what Arizona State tried to do last year. Indiana didn't get it done. And of course, SMU didn't get it done. But others, they're getting to that point. And I think that's what makes, even though the logos and the blue blood and whatever else, the country club, why they get a little bit nervous, they still year in and year out are still going to pretty much lead the way. But now some of their rosters being peeled away by other programs in the FBS or even sometimes going to FCS while they're taking somebody from, let's say, North Texas. North Texas might be scratching 3 to 5 guys off the roster at Tech or somewhere else to try to make themselves even better. All right. Let me explain. I know Baylor and the AD's job. Coming up is Pat Smith from Three-Man Front. But Baylor, the 3 names, Paul, am I right or wrong, that you have to call them would be Ren Baker, Jeremiah Dickey, and also Jared Mosley.
Yes.
I believe that, I don't know, because Jeremiah Dickey, I didn't want to bother him. He's got a game tonight. I have not spoken with him. I believe that they're now looking elsewhere. I think that they're in a position where they're going to start looking, and maybe there's been 2 to 5 other people in the first place, but it will be interesting to see. Do they need to have somebody hired? I just think that you need somebody who's running the athletic department. With all due respect, some people right now are pissed off at Dr. Livingston. Okay, pissed off at everybody right now at Baylor. But I still think you need somebody to come in. You have a buffer period here. There's no bowl game, which is one of the reasons some of these changes, although the AD changes in a different reason. But I do think you need somebody heading into this break with a lot that's going on so you could start the year fresh with somebody who's going to be making hires, whether it's in football or elsewhere. But in athletics, I know Aranda has been retained for at least another year. So there we are with that. When we come back, Pat Smith, Three-Man Front from the SEC. How many teams get in? What is their argument? Is it fair? Is it right? Is it wrong? Is it arrogant or what? Pat Smith will join us. He does an incredible job covering the SEC. And this is 365 Sports. And the Baylor Club, man, I'm glad we have this one today because I have brand new information that I got from Nick Colwell. The Baylor Club inside McLean Stadium off I-35. I talked to Nick by email. The renovations that have been going on really since late summer, still going on as well. But he said we're extending our special promotion. You can take advantage of all December long. You can take advantages throughout the month of December. Book any event for January or February during the month of December, and you'll get and receive your choice of free decor and free AV, in other words, audio visual. So book any event, whether it's for 20 people or for 200 people, during the month of December for January or February, and you'll get your choice of free decor or free audio visual. Also, corporate gatherings, celebrations, kickoff events, private events, holiday parties at the Baylor Club. They can do that for you. Contact the private events team at the Baylor Club. Become a member today and enjoy full lineup of all of the holiday events and also the exciting calendar of events and activities around the corner and great food and amenities. It's the Baylor Club. Contact them now inside McLean Stadium at I-35 in Waco.
Camille Johnson with Camille Johnson Realtors. We specialize in selling residential real estate agent all across our community, and we love serving all types of families. We have been in business at Camille Johnson Realtors for almost 9 years, and I have been a residential real estate agent for almost 40 years. And we love our partnership with 365. So thank you for partnering with me, and thank you so much to all of my clients who have made our company a success.
No car payments for 90 days when you bring your auto loan home to Genco. Get 4.79% for 48 months and make no payments until 2026. Plus, get entered to win 3 months of no car payments. Bring your auto loan home to Genco. Lower your interest rate, save money, and no payments until 2026. For details, go to GencoFCU.org.
My money, my future, my credit union. Genco.
This is 365 Sports.
The 3 o'clock hour is sponsored by Waco Custom Marketplace. Meats, sweets, Texas treats, and a cut above the rest. 425 Lake Air Drive, Waco.
If I need to know what's going on in the Southeastern Conference or the SEC or in the South or anywhere where football, of course, is loved probably more than anywhere else in the world, I go to Pat Smith. I was on a show with him earlier this week, had a lot of fun. Pat, thank you very much. All right, I want you to do me a favor. You cover that conference. You cover college football first. We know how passionate they are. We understand the trophies and all that. Is it unfair when people start to think that they're wanting too much of the territory?
Well, guys, always great to be on with you. No, and the reason why is because the SEC and where I originate from in Birmingham, Alabama, used to be known as the football capital of America. Now, television-wise, we have been that way, but obviously what Nick Saban did in Tuscaloosa, the way the growth of the SEC, the number of championships that they were able to win on a constant year-by-year basis, I think Commissioner Sankey, of course, before him was Mike Slive. They kind of set the tone for everything, especially with the college football playoffs. So, yeah, from an SEC gauntlet standpoint, I think everyone in this part of the world believes that everything they get should be given to them because on the field they prove it.
Pat, I do think like the one thing I think that drives like fans in the other leagues nuts is like the SEC doesn't want to do this. The gap is closed though, as far as like
Absolutely.
talent wise. Like they like when you hear Steve Sarkisian saying these things about like, well, we made these plans. We were in the Big 12. This is different. We're in the SEC now. Okay, that's true, and they're still a gap. Like they still have it, but it has been shrunk exponentially really fast. Not to say that it'll ever completely go away, but this is not 5 years ago. It's very, very different.
No, it is. And not only is college football as a whole, Paul, that is completely different. Look in this conference. Like, if you would have told me 10 years ago that Vanderbilt would have someone up for the Heisman Trophy and Vanderbilt would win 10 games for the first time in school history, when you would also tell me that somebody in Bloomington, Indiana would be undefeated, and the kind of money that's being thrown around with some of these coaches, and then Penn State can't find a coach. Yeah, it's changing times, but I could just tell you from, our perspective, down deep here in the deep South, we're seeing it week in and week out because it used to be top heavy. It used to be the LSUs, the Alabamas, the Georgias of the world. But now, once Texas has come in, Texas A&M has been competitive. It's a completely different league than what it used to be. So, yeah, I see the parity not only across college football because of NIL and the transfer portal, but I'm seeing on a week-by-week basis in my own conference that I've covered for a long time.
Yeah, the Pavia story, and when he moved there last year, and they had, they had the win against Alabama, they had some success, and then you go, okay, can Indiana follow it up? Can Vanderbilt follow it up? And they have. I mean, Vanderbilt's even better. Had a chance to win a couple other games they didn't. It's a phenomenal, and Clark Lee's like, we're going to come back and do this again. They're in it for the long haul, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And it's interesting, David, because just a couple of years ago, we had SEC football media days in Nashville, and Clark Lee was given a contract extension. And so he gets up in front of the room and he says, Vanderbilt is going to be the best team in the country in the next few years. And of course, all of us in the media, we're sitting there laughing. I mean, openly, we're like going, what are you talking about? There's no way that Vanderbilt, that has been the doormat of this conference for as long as we can remember, that they're actually going to be on the national scene. And by golly, by brick, he's been able to build it. And Diego Pavia has transcended that city of Nashville. And like I said, I would be shocked if Diego Pavia is not there in New York and potentially lifting that trophy. But that team and that city, they have absolutely done exactly what Clark Lee had prescribed about it 2 years ago in Nashville. And that playbook has been worked like a charm for them. And listen, they're here to stay. I mean, I think all these teams in the Southeastern Conference, because of the commitment to NIL, all of a sudden, I heard Auburn today. Auburn made it be known that they're going to have a $30 million payroll last year or this next season. They had a $20 million payroll this year, and they're not even going bowling. And now they're going to commit another $10 million. So, yeah, there's a lot of money being spent right now in this conference to try to keep up with the Joneses and keep up with the likes of Vandy.
Okay, there have been now 5 coaching changes in the SEC. Auburn, Florida, LSU, Ole Miss, and Kentucky. We'll start with Lane Kiffin and that. He almost had the cleanest exit he had, I think. I think he was there. I think maybe there would have been an understanding. But I think when he out the door tried to be like, they begged me to stay and coach the game, then not only the athletic department, it kind of felt like from their end, it felt like Brian Kelly and Notre Dame when they're like, we've got Marcus Freeman, we're happy. Let's just move on. But the players were like, oh, no.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And first off, it was the worst kept secret in the conference. Ole Miss let Lane know weeks ago. I mean, Lane is trying to play the victim here. He was not the victim. I'm sorry. Nobody's going to feel sorry for a guy that's making $13+ million a year, and he's never won one single championship in the Southeastern Conference. So, yeah, it was known weeks ago that Ole Miss was not going to let him do this. It was a pipe dream for him, thinking that he was going to be able to stay. I think at the last minute they were doing a little jockeying. That's what Jimmy Sexton does, the agent for not only Lane Kiffin, but literally 14 of the 16 coaches in the Southeastern Conference are being represented by Jimmy Sexton. So he's kind of the puppet master behind the scenes. But, Ole Miss did the right thing. And I was glad to see that Charlie Weiss is going to come back and call the plays in the college football playoff, because it's really not fair to the school. It's not fair to obviously those kids in that program, what they've been able to do. Bit odd for him to walk out like he did in the middle of a season or a chance to win potentially a national championship. But yeah, Lane is going to Lane. I covered him at Alabama, and I can just tell you, when Nick Saban had to fire him literally weeks before the national championship game because he had his eye off the prize and he was worried about FAU as opposed to Alabama, that tells you something. So everywhere Lane has been, there's been this controversy involved, drama, and I think Ole Miss did the right thing to cut ties when they could.
Well, okay, so now you have the championship game rematch. Alabama's had the edge over Georgia. Georgia got them one time for the national title, of course, but great rivalry. But Alabama's had the edge. I like the way Georgia has finished the year. They separated from UT in that fourth quarter and ended up winning easily. Alabama seems to play with their food, but damn it, they're always around. Not like they don't have a bunch of great players, but your thoughts about this one?
I think it's going to be an extremely low-scoring game. I love the analogy of playing with their food because that's exactly what Alabama's done over the last month of the season. They definitely kind of peaked early, and they find ways to win. The defense rounded out. They're the number one defense in the Southeastern Conference. It's not Georgia. It's not Texas A&M. It's not Texas. It's Alabama. Alabama finished number one and really saved their backside in a lot of games. Both teams are beat up, guys. I can't express this enough. When Drew Bobo, the starting center for Georgia, he's out. I mean, he's the quarterback on the offensive line. You saw that against Georgia Tech last week when he went out hurt. That's going to be a potential problem for Georgia. Meanwhile, Alabama, they're more beat up than Georgia. So I think both teams, this is going to be a dogfight like it always is. And when I say dogfight, I really mean a pillow fight in a phone booth because I think both teams are going to struggle moving the ball. I think it's going to be a classic Alabama-Georgia game, not a lot of points. This is going to make people back in the 90s when the SEC championship came to be and you had Gene Stallings type defense at Alabama. It's going to be a low-scoring game. I like Georgia in the game because, David, I said this a couple of weeks ago on a radio show, not in Birmingham, and I wasn't placating to anybody else, but I firmly believe this. They asked me, name the one team in the SEC you feel is built right now to win a national championship. And I said, Georgia. And I firmly believe that Georgia has come together as a football team. It's a completely different team than the one that Alabama beat back in September. So I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I like Georgia by a hair, maybe barely covering, but I think it's going to be a good one tomorrow in Atlanta.
So let me ask you about some of the other coaching hires. Obviously, you're very close to the situation at Auburn. How do the fans feel about Alex Golesh, who is a program builder? And I think that's kind of maybe not like ground up building, but I do think that's kind of what Auburn needs to think of themselves as right now.
Yeah, I'm going to put it to you guys this way. So when Brian Harsin, who you guys probably remember that cup of coffee he had in Austin as the offensive coordinator, when he was hired at Auburn, he was a used car salesman. That's all he was. Then they brought in Hugh Freeze, who was a televangelist. That's what he was. Alex Golesh is a football coach. And I think that's what excites the Auburn people because they see a guy that eats and breathes. He doesn't have a golf handicap, so he's not going to be out playing golf all the time like Hugh Freeze did. This guy is going to be in that football office building working on football. That's what they hired him for. That's why Auburn people are excited. They're even more excited because DJ Durkin is coming back as defensive coordinator. That was huge, huge for John Cohen, who was the athletics director at Auburn, to be able to say, hey, look, we have faith in DJ Durkin. It's very important that he stays on the staff, and Alex Golesh agreed. That's huge. They didn't close very well on signing day on Wednesday, which is understandable with a new staff. They've lost a few kids. They lost a 5-star wide receiver this afternoon to Ole Miss. But it goes without saying, the enthusiasm is there. The money's going to be able to roster, retain, and try to go out and get some pieces. So the Auburn people are really, really happy right now with Alex Golesh.
What are your thoughts about Penn State, lingering? Remember back, it's been a while, maybe 20 years, when Steve Peterson fired Frank Solich, and then it took forever, like 40-something days to find Bill Callahan, which to me, an NFL-type guy like O'Brien or whatever, I know he's got a job, but it's Penn State. It's Penn State, but sometimes you get over your skis, even though a lot of people felt like it was time for them to move on from James Franklin.
It's crazy to think 53 days, like they were going to be the first ones out of the gate. Let's fire James Franklin. Let's have a plan. Let's execute the plan. Let's get the big guy in here that can win big games. And here we are 53 days later, and we still don't have a coach in Happy Valley. It reminds me a lot, David, of what happened back in 2005, 2006, before Nick Saban came to Tuscaloosa. Alabama could not get anybody to take the job. A lot of people, and maybe you're in your neck of the woods, don't remember this, but Alabama was going after Rich Rodriguez. And
I remember that.
They actually had a deal in place for Rich Rodriguez, and Rita Rodriguez, his wife, at the last minute was not too keen of moving to the state of Alabama because of the fervent nature of the fans in the Southeastern Conference, especially where I live in Birmingham and in Tuscaloosa. So they ultimately decided not to take the job at Alabama. So what did Mal Moore, the AD, do? He pivoted and he went and flew down to South Florida, and he would not take no for an answer, did not leave the tarmac until a Nicholas Saban would come talk to him, and the rest is college football history. So who knows? Maybe if Matt Campbell is the guy at Penn State, that when it's all said and done, it took a long time for them to get around the front door by going all the way around the house. But maybe, just maybe, Penn State's going to end up with one of the best coaches that they possibly could have had, maybe someone that they couldn't have had, obviously, at the beginning.
It seemed like he just the way he fits would fit Penn State. Now, I think there's a comment somebody said, can you imagine him saying this to the fan base at Penn State? We don't care about whether our goals are champion. He talks about, that process. Mm-hmm. They're going to want to know. The goals are to win the Big Damn 10 and to beat Michigan and Ohio State.
He's going to have more resources. That's for sure. And not that Iowa State doesn't try, but they're kind of like for lack of a better term, kind of landlocked on what they can do compared to Penn State. Okay, the other three: Kentucky with Will Stein, Florida with John Sumrall, and Pete Golding taking Ole Miss. Do you think those are all solid hires, or do you think any of them were maybe a little bit of a miss?
I will tell you guys, I think everyone that you just mentioned, they're going to fit into those specific programs extremely well. The one that I'm not excited about, and I hate it because I know a lot of really good people up in Northwest Arkansas. I think Ryan Silverfield, I think that hire there at Arkansas, I hope he proves me wrong because, like I said, I got a lot of really good people, a lot of good football people in Arkansas that I wish nothing but the best. But the last 3 years at Memphis has not been ideal for Silverfield. And then all of a sudden, he gets this opportunity. I don't know if it was because they beat Arkansas earlier this year in the Liberty Bowl. I don't know what the situation was, but they kind of got desperate. I think Hunter Yurachek had swiped and missed on about 8 guys. And so Silverfield actually was the guy left in the bullpen. So they brought him in. I'm not too keen on that hire. I'm afraid that Arkansas is going to ultimately be making a change here in 3 or 4 years. But John Sumrall was wanted by Auburn. They thought they had John Sumrall, but what I brought up earlier about DJ Durkin, the athletics director, kind of was pushing DJ to stay on Sumrall's staff, and Sumrall, which I have no problem with, he's the CEO of the football program. He wanted to hire his own people, and he said, no, thank you. And then he started talking to Florida, and the rest is history there. Florida's going to love him. I know that a lot of their people were like, well, it's another Sun Belt coach. This isn't going to work out too well. John Sumrall, who's an Alabama guy. He's from Huntsville. He played at Kentucky. He coached at Troy. He's playing for a championship again tonight at Tulane. He's an outstanding football coach. I think Florida hit a home run there. And Pete Golding, I covered him when he was DC at Alabama. I could tell you this, of all the coaches, and this includes Kirby Smart in Tuscaloosa, Nick Saban will tell you, all the defensive coordinators that he brought up to the whiteboard and say, okay, schematically, let's draw this out. Show me this, show me that. That Pete Golding did it the best, better than anyone he's had in Tuscaloosa. That's why he entrusted the defense with Pete Golding all those years. I think Pete understands Mississippi, played at Delta State. He knows those people. I think the team loves him. I'm not saying he's going to win a national championship in the CFP this year, but I think it's a really good hire. That's exactly what they needed in Oxford.
So there's been thoughts that Sankey and a lot of, even you or whoever that covers the SEC feels like that maybe they should get, or Texas should get in, or Vanderbilt should get in. That's fine. Everybody has an opinion, and it's hard to argue against some of those resumes, but it's also not just cut and dried. Yeah, they should, but they've now increased the scholarships to what everybody else has been having at 105, not 85. Sark brought that up this week. Yep. They moved to 9 conference games, which I think is good. Everybody should play the same amount, no matter what conference you're in. So they have moved the needle a little bit to try to eliminate any of the negatives, or if that is even what you could call that.
Yeah, and Kirk Herbstreit, he kind of blasted Alabama this week because Alabama moved. They didn't cancel, but they moved a game that they were supposed to have next year with South Florida. They moved it to 2032. They picked up Chattanooga, which I know is an FCS school. But what has happened is that all these schools in the SEC that was fighting and dragging themselves and say, hey, look, we do not want to play that 9th conference game. This conference is already tough enough as it is, and you're going to add one more game to this gauntlet. So we got to have a little bit of relief. And so that's why Alabama moved that game, picked up an FCS. So you're going to have the national pundits. You'll have the Kirk Herbstreit and some other folks take some shots at the SEC because, listen, I'm like everybody else. I would love to see Ohio State and Texas every year. But let's be honest. That can't happen in this world that we currently live in. Now, if we get to a 24-team playoff where basically it's going to, look a lot different than a committee that's trying to pigeonhole 12 teams in, if there's a little bit more, then I think you can have the flexibility of a Texas Ohio State game being played out of conference, those big marquee games. But from an SEC standpoint, I can just tell you, watching and covering this league on a daily basis and a weekly basis on Saturday, it truly is an absolute gauntlet. It's NFL light, and it's a situation where if they can get any type of a respite from a tough schedule and play somebody like that, especially towards the end of a season, they're going to take it, especially now with those 9 conference games.
You know what? I wish that everybody wasn't working separately, Pat, that they would
Correct. I agree.
Work together.
Yes.
And because really what we as fans want to see in non-conference is cool games that we never get to see.
Right.
That we shouldn't have to necessarily wait for a bowl game and whatever stupid affiliation it may have at that time or how the playoff works. I think that everybody, and I at first was like, everybody go to 9 or everybody go to 8. I don't care. But the more I thought about it, I'd rather everybody be at 8 and then you play 2 power conference opponents and then 1 G6, and then you can have your FCS if you want it. And I think the FCS game should be played before October 1st so that we're not in this like dead week right before it's supposed to be good. And then everything else is fair game. Make the schedule as TV friendly as you want it, rivalry weekend, all those different things. But if everybody goes to 8 and 4 with those same standards across the board, I think everybody would be thrilled, especially the TV partners, because now they'd have you would get Fox and CBS would get games across the conference that they're not getting right now, especially in the Big Ten, which ratings wise is getting drubbed by the SEC.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And I think we can all agree, and Paul, I agree with you 100% across the board, that college football can't get out of its way in screwing up. Just like the SCORE Act should have been passed a couple of days ago. It didn't even go to a vote. We don't even know the playoff situation for next year. They've already extended that out till sometime in January to make a decision. You've got coaches that are leaving their teams right before you get to the college football playoff. If we had the NFL model, you would have rules in place. You'd have collective bargaining. You would have all these type things that we would have in place where coaches, the players would all be protected. And if you had that czar, or if you had a commissioner of college football, whoever that may be, that would be able to set up these tenets, these rules and regulations in a constitution where these things would not be broken, and there's stiff rules and regulations on what you should do, then we could have those schedules. We could have a game in which everyone is on the same playing field, because right now it's not. And I know the Big Ten and the SEC, they flex, and then Yormark and Phillips have to kind of come along with the party and try to, grin and bear it when they can. But at the end of the day, all these guys have got to come together. I think we can all agree that ultimately, whether it's 5 years from now, 3 years from now, or when the new media rights come up in 2031, that you're going to have about 70 schools that's going to be in the big boy league. And then everybody else is going to have to potentially play in the old way of a 1AA or what is now an FCS type league. That's coming. It has to, because I can tell you the television partners, they're not going to be very pleased by seeing none of these marquee games because these leagues aren't going to schedule them anymore.
Yeah, Alabama does have East Carolina, UT Chattanooga, and they have Florida State.
Yes.
That would normally be a banger, right? And it was earlier this year for Florida State until they fell flat after that. But that would be a banger. And it's interesting sometimes what is a banger, because that team goes backwards or struggles, is no longer thought of it. Although having Florida State on your schedule, they have Ohio State, Pat, right, in 27, Alabama does?
Yeah, they got Ohio State. And not to mention the fact, look at Auburn. You guys saw
Oh.
Auburn up close and personal this year. I
Yep.
mean, we were all excited. And look what happened to both Baylor and Auburn this year. Auburn's got Notre Dame coming up in a couple years. So yeah, there's still some of these high marquee type games that's on these schedules. But yeah, hey, listen, Alabama scheduled Wisconsin back-to-back years, played in Madison, played in Tuscaloosa this year. Well, who would have thought that Luke Fickell would absolutely be a disaster in Madison, Wisconsin? Of course, that game was scheduled, 6 or 7 years ago, and it looked like, okay, well, this is going to be a great non-con, having the likes of Florida State and Wisconsin in the same year. I mean, that's huge. And then we'll play, an FCS team or whatever the case may be. So we all like it, guys. We're on the same page there. It's just that at the end of the day, Petiti and Sankey, I mean, they got to rally the troops and they got to get in a room and they got to figure this out, and they got to figure it out pretty quick.
Yeah, and they got to make sure that they're not the only ones out there that play college football too, which I don't know. They've dug their heels in too. We love the game. I hope it all eventually is more about the games played rather than all the politics and crap and et cetera. Thank you, Pat. Great stuff as always. Good to see you, buddy. Thank you.
Hey, happy holidays, guys. Talk to you
too.
soon.
Pat Smith, 3-man front in Birmingham with us on 365 Sports. Brandon, do you have the latest picture? Bracket Cat has become one of our stringers. That is Calvin Klein on with Gene Taylor, the AD, on the stage at Morgan Family Arena. He said something. He thanked Bill Snyder for coming up with the Power Cat before, which led to, of course, him being a Heisman Trophy candidate. And there's Calvin Klein and being introduced.
Yeah, I saw Willie's got the number 7, wearing the number 7 today to match him. The Wildcat.
Oh, yeah, Willie the Wildcat. Yeah. And good for them. They're thrilled. That's a great hire for them. I don't know if Bracket Cat, I thought he said that he did not see Chris Kleiman at the introductory press conference.
I don't think it's necessary for him to be there. I think you need to start the new era. I don't think there's any bad blood or anything. I mean, Chris Kleiman looked very grateful, the other day, and
he looked relieved too.
Relieved, yeah. And
like you said, he's at peace.
He's at peace with the decision. He looked relieved. So, he's won a lot. He's won a lot. It's not his time anymore, and he knows that. And if it was still his time, he would know that. It's just his heart's not in it. It's hard. Like this job, college football coaching, and they get paid very well for it. But it is harder than it's ever been because the leadership is so. I mean, we spend every day talking about it.
There's no control. Nobody has any power. And those who have power want to make sure they do, that don't make the decisions, but they are.
So, again, this all stems from, I'm not surprised to see it in more chaos, the NCAA, when they went and hired a politician to be the president of it. Like they hired a politician. So what they're getting is politics, which is not good. So when you hire David Baker to be the head of your organization, you were saying we need some political clout. Well, guess what? You were already
Charlie Baker.
Yeah. Well, Charlie Baker. So there you go. You're in the mess you're in.
Yeah, we don't know how that goes. All right, last thing, and here's Colin Klein on being introduced, and then we come back with Riley Nelson. What is our mission going forward? We're going to be the new old school, striving for excellence in everything we do. We're going to live on our players. We're going to recruit, be aggressive in how we move this program forward into the new era of college football. It's going to be evaluated every day, the practice field, how hard we compete. We're going to have schematic advantage. We're going to put the envelope. We're going to push the envelope, and offense, defense, special teams. There was never or has never been a time volatility and what we're going to attack it straight on. It's going to take all of us. I love tackle hard things. We're going to take this program where it hasn't been before. And so those thank you, Bracket Cat, for the story, the quotes, and also the pictures. Coming up, former BYU quarterback Riley Nelson. He's next. And this is 365 Sports. And Alan Samuels, Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat. I got an email today from Ted Teague, and they have new incentives, of course, going on. And they just came off of Black Friday. That doesn't mean it's over. They will continue to have tremendous discounts and more at Allen Samuels, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Right now, when you look at the Wagoneer, you look at the Jeep Grand Cherokee, you look at the SUVs they have on their lot and what Jeep brings to the table, the brand is very special. Also, Ram trucks, they're $1,500, $2,500, $3,500, all sorts of different type of Ram trucks. Motor Trend Truck of the Year. So many times it feels like Nick Saban winning national titles at Alabama. Ted Teague, the general manager and CEO. David Gray runs the sales department with all of those great client managers. They are loaded. They have pre-owned. I bought mine in 2020. I love what I have, even though it wasn't one of their brands. It was a great pre-owned, the Ford Explorer. It's Allen Samuels, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat, Loop 340 and east of 84 in Waco.
Over 30% of adults struggle with chronic foot and joint pain, and many face mobility limitations as they age. But a revolutionary Comfort First slipper has taken the wellness world by storm. Try Cloud Slides and feel you are walking on the clouds. Cloud Slides.
Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. Download the app today and sign up with promo code SPORTS365 to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code SPORTS365. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog. Make picks. Win money. Must be 18 and up. 19 and up in Alabama, Nebraska, 19 and up, and in Colorado for some games, 21 and up in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and must be present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details.
Serving Central Texas since 1889, TFNB Your Bank for Life takes pride in being more than a bank. TFNB, we remain committed to these principles. If you value them too, come join us. TFNB, your bank for life.
With over 25 years of excellence in IT, Carrion Solutions is your trusted technology partner. From managed IT services to cutting-edge cybersecurity, our expert team delivers tailored solutions that drive success. Our portfolio includes products such as Veeam, Bitdefender, Microsoft, Cisco, and Fortinet. Call David Carrion and his team of experts. Call 888-522-2221 or visit us at carrionsolutions.com.
This is 365 Sports.
The 3 o'clock hour is sponsored by Waco Custom Marketplace. Meats, sweets, Texas treats, and a cut above the rest. 425 Lake Air Drive, Waco.
We have had Riley Nelson on before, former BYU quarterback who looked like you are comfortable as you could possibly be right now with the tank top. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Sorry, I knew I had something today. It was nagging me all day. I forgot to put our appointment in the calendar, so I snuck away to the gym because I thought my day freed up a little bit early. And anyway, thanks for texting me. Sorry. So I found a corner in a little aerobics room here, and happy to talk some football with you fellas.
You got some. You look at the. He still got the look, that neck and all that.
Oh yeah, he's got look
the lats and all
if
that.
you told me he was going to play
rotator
tomorrow,
cuff
I'd be
looks
all right.
intact. Yeah,
yeah. Look, there's no grays there. Well, maybe in the beard a little bit. You'd have to tighten that up. But
you got to keep it short. That's how nobody can see.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Eventually, it doesn't matter. You just go bald, or you be like it. Look at that. All right, hey man, great to see you again. Appreciate it. I should have sent you a flare again as a reminder earlier today, but here we are. BYU, Texas Tech, the rematch. Texas Tech kind of turned them upside down in that game in Lubbock. So, Riley, from your perspective, BYU wasn't able to do what they've done to a lot of other people. What and how can they change that?
First and foremost, LJ Martin dislocated his shoulder, got taken out of the second quarter of the Iowa State game. And granted, there was a bye week between Iowa State and Texas Tech for BYU, but I thought it was just an AC separation, right? Which every running back, everybody who's played football, they've had an AC separation. But this was an actual dislocation that happened in the Iowa State game. Obviously, they kept it under wraps. People didn't know that. So when LJ Martin comes out, and granted, we all know that Texas Tech front seven is formidable, but when he comes out and only manages 10 carries for 35 yards, I think we all thought, oh, man, it confirmed what we already wanted to believe, which was that Texas Tech front seven is that, well, LJ Martin goes on to finish the rest of the season. Obviously, that shoulder's back. If you had any question, you just go back and watch that Cincinnati game 2 weeks ago. He gets named this week as the conference offensive player of the year and is back to full health. So I think that's one of the biggest things. Second thing is, I know, talking to a couple of the players and then a lot of the staff and personnel that were down there on that sideline, like, Lubbock was rocking. Like, Raider Nation, I don't know if they call it that, but Red Raider Nation was ready for that game and was on top of the Cougars from the jump, even from before the kick, and playing a true road game in that stadium. I think it's going to neutral up a little bit. I think BYU has always shown well in Cowboy Stadium. I played a couple of games. I played TCU in that stadium. I was the backup quarterback when we played Oklahoma, and we always had, we always sold our allotment and some when it came to playing games in AT&T Stadium. So I think that'll help because, even though he's extremely mature and all that, Bear Bachmeier in that hostile environment, the fact that it's going to be a little less hostile, albeit that might be offset by the fact that this is a conference championship game. But I do like the fact that dynamic changes. And then just second, no matter how much you try and convince yourself mentally, Texas Tech is in a position where, win or lose, they are in the college football playoff. And with the ultimate goal of winning a national championship, this game really means, I won't say very little, but it doesn't mean as much as it does to BYU, who is in an absolute situation of desperation that they're on the outside looking in unless they come away with a victory tomorrow. So those three dynamics are the one that I'm looking for that might even the playing field a little bit from that first matchup in Lubbock, which obviously was a very one-sided affair.
So how do you think they change it up to get Bear Bachmeier looser in the running game so that he can, not even just the called runs, but they didn't even let him kind of roll out of the pocket and get loose on a 3rd and 3 for 5 yards. None of that happened.
Yeah, there was no threat of anybody else hurting them, and so they were able to do that. Not to continue to bring it back to LJ Martin, but again, this is the conference offensive conference player of the year, and this is I truly think I'm hanging all my hopes on his performance being relatively different. Texas Tech, Enoch Nawahine and Preston Rex are fine players, but they in no way made Texas Tech feel like they had to account for them, and especially on key downs. And quite frankly, BYU kind of tipped their hand early on that they weren't going to go to those. There was no chance that in a 3rd and short or 3rd and medium, they were going to go to the running back. Everybody in the stadium knew they were going to try and run the QB. And with the defensive front as good as Texas Tech's, if you have a good idea or you know what they're going to do, it's pretty easy for you to stop it. Now that they're going to have to either account for LJ Martin getting the ball in those 3rd and medium situations, it just takes a little bit of pressure off Bear Bachmeier. But let me tell you this. While Bear Bachmeier, he set the single-season rushing touchdowns record, and he is extremely productive in the QB run game. He is a vertical downhill running back. I mean, guys, this kid's somewhere between 240, 250. He doesn't have a lot of shake. He doesn't have a lot of wiggle. This isn't a guy who's going to create running lanes for himself. He needs the O-line to be able to do that, create those lanes for him, and then he can get his big body running downhill and get some momentum on it. And the way that happens easily this Saturday, which didn't happen a month ago or whenever that game was played, is when the defensive front doesn't have to when they have to account for the fact that instead of keeping it, maybe he does hand off to LJ Martin, who's fully capable of going and getting it on his own. So I know you asked me, how does Bear Bachmeier change it? Well, that was a long answer. The short answer is the only way his production improves is if LJ Martin's production improves significantly.
Yeah, and he was named LJ, says a lot because it's the coaches who vote, the offensive player of the year. There were some quarterbacks that had really good starts, but they faded or were injured down the stretch, and that opened the door for that. And when I saw that, I'm like, oh, yeah, he had almost 1,300 yards or whatever. He's a banger. Okay, I got to ask you this. Honestly, what was your weight when you played quarterback at BYU?
Yeah, I would always start the season somewhere between 212, 215, and then it's just so hard to maintain because you can continue to eat and keep it, but you know that your composition between muscle is fat. So I would let it slide a little bit, and I'd end up somewhere between 207, 210. So that was kind of my corridor.
So how would you run out of gas if you were about 250, 260 right now at quarterback like Bachmeier?
I'd want to. Yeah, you'd think so, but that was my natural weight. So to give you guys a deal, right? Graduating high school before I had a college program or nutrition or anything like that, I was somewhere between 195, 200. I graduate, finish playing and kind of just get into where I'm not eating to try and maintain that muscle, and my body settles down somewhere between 195 and 200. So that's just kind of where my DNA has me at. I think Bear Bachmeier's DNA, I don't think it has him between 240, 250, but it probably has him somewhere between 230, 235. So he's not carrying as much extra weight as you think. You just look at that dude genetically, and he's just got those thick joints, thick wrists, thick knees, thick ankles. The dude, yeah, he's probably carrying a little bit of extra load because he knows what this offense demands of him, but he's carrying it well. His body is built, his DNA is coded to carry that weight for him, and thank goodness it has, because the boy, he has been so incredibly durable, so incredibly reliable, and you just don't see that out of kids transitioning from high school to major D1 college football to be able to weather that load. Most of them, the system breaks, but his is held up, and knock on wood, it holds up this Saturday.
Yeah.
Riley, obviously a collective sigh of relief in Provo this week because Kalani Sitake is staying. I think it kind of maybe was a bigger thing. BYU kind of in the coaching community, they knew as this is a place that they kind of have in their mind what they're going to pay their coach. And if their coach gets another opportunity, coaches make this much. But it really does say something that Kalani Sitake is a guy who was so important for them to keep that they said, all right, we better kind of get with what the modern times are and keep this guy and his staff happy and intact.
Well, I think after that first season in the Big 12, which was the last time Kalani signed his extension, right? They had to level him up from independence money to Big 12 money, right? So that was the first deal that they had to do. I don't think what anybody expected was the fact that he was going to get them to the top of the conference this quickly. Last year, obviously, they needed some help to get in the conference championship game. They were on the outside looking in. But you look at Iowa State and you look at Arizona State, and they're middle of the conference here. BYU is the only one from a year ago that has consistently maintained its place at the top of the conference. And so you better make sure the pay of your head coach reflects that performance. So rather than being maybe top half of the Big 12 like he was last time he did his extension, you probably, and him and his agent have the right to say hey, we better be paid at the top of the Big 12 and definitely in the mix of the Big 10 and SEC conferences in order to do that. The other thing I'll say, guys, is I continue to hear after this deal went down that as much as this was about shoring up Kalani does not want to deal with the revolving door that Nick Saban did at Alabama, losing coordinators every year and having to replace them. At Alabama, that's somewhat easy. At BYU, that becomes exponentially harder. So as much as this was about securing Kalani, it was also about Kalani advocating for his staff to maintain their unprecedented continuity and stability that they've had on that staff, which in my opinion is one of the top contributing factors to how they've been able to ramp up so quickly in the Big 12 and produce back-to-back 10-win seasons.
Yeah, it was. I was happy. Yeah, one, we've had Kalani on, 8 to 10 times in the last 4 years or so. We love the guy, and it was good to see it. Was there a collective sigh of relief instead of that being a part of a distraction as they enter the weekend? They still might lose. It may not be able to get any better than what they did against Tech. But was it that seemed like they got rid of it so quickly that everything else has been about the game?
Yeah, I mean, I would have loved it. I think it got finally done and announced maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. I would have loved to have it happen sooner, but obviously it's going to play out how it's going to play out. Here's one thing, fellas. I think the players are more accustomed. That would have been a huge distraction for me playing 15 years ago or 10 years ago or however long ago it was, because we didn't live in the world like the pros where people were were getting bid for and seeking better contracts and doing all the. I think it's a little bit less impactful, at least to that locker room and at least to the roster, because the players are doing the same things themselves. Like, everybody understands. And you saw that clip. Well, I don't know if you guys saw, but it got passed around in BYU circles of Kalani making the announcement as he brought people up to practice after that practice on Tuesday or Wednesday or whenever that was. And he just flat out said, he's like, look, the agents got to talk with the brass and all that, but I'm staying. It's just a matter of dotting I's and crossing T's. And the team goes crazy. Well, half that roster has agents, and half that roster's got people in negotiations and all of that stuff. So that gives me just the fact that the whole baseline dynamic has changed within college football, that negotiations or hearing rumors that someone might go somewhere else is much more commonplace, I think allows the team collectively to recover mentally and get back on track and focus and get the laser focus in for what they need for something like a conference championship game.
All right. Thank you, man. I know a lot of stuff going on, but that's great. We have ambience. It's great to hear the youngster. How old? 4 years, 3 years? How old is the youngster?
I got a 2-year-old with me. He was driving his mom crazy, and he's actually pretty good at racking weights. So out here, but he's not so good at being quiet in the background when Daddy's doing an interview. So
what 2-year-old is ever quiet? Hey, thank you, buddy. Look, it's been great to have you on. We're not done. We'll have you again. Riley, appreciate your time and also getting away from the weights and the bench press for a little bit to give us some knowledge. Thanks for your time. Have a great weekend. Good luck.
Yeah, no, I apologize for the hectic nature, but always a pleasure being on with you guys.
No.
You guys are certified ball knowers. And anyway, thanks for having me on. I look forward to the next time.
We are going to be on tomorrow live from 9 to 10:30 inside AT&T Stadium. With the game leading up to Baylor and Texas Tech. Thanks for your time. Riley Nelson, former BYU quarterback, with us on 365 Sports. Great to hear from him. Paxton said he's tired of talking about the schedules, the non-conference and all that. I am too. Listen, is this fair? When an Alabama gets left out last year, when Florida State, for the reasons they were given, a name brand, I didn't like those reasons, but if a Texas or a couple of other schools like that are not find a way to get in, it's good for college football. You may not like to hear that, but I think it's good for college football. No matter if you would agree with the way they go about setting the 12-team field at all. Because if all of a sudden on Sunday at about 2 o'clock or so, can you imagine if they put up that number 10, 11, or 12? And all of a sudden there's a couple of schools that are missing and they would have put up the horns, you would have some that would lose their mind either way. Well, you have a lot. But you don't want to get in because of the logo. You don't want to get in because of who you are. You want to get in for what you did this year. And most all Texas fans feel like they did enough, and there's a lot of people that don't. But it's great because we care enough about the game. Just wish the leaders would. When we come back, Blake Horvath, he is the senior quarterback at the Naval Academy, has had a hell of a year, was injured a couple of weeks ago, but helped in the win against Memphis last week. He's a dual-threat quarterback, and how many have they had at Navy over the years? I mean, they ran that option. They ran that triple option. They ran whatever it was. He's pretty good. Ask Oklahoma in that bowl game when he went about 90-something yards against them. He joins us on Army-Navy. What a great game that is, and we're not done. This is 365 Sports. Ideal, MRI.com in the Central Texas marketplace off I-35 in Waco. Dr. Rob Maxey, is that up here? Yeah, right behind me on this shoulder. You see the logo. It's been here since we got into the studio in September of 2020. They can do a couple of things. One is they have a state-of-the-art imaging machine, an MRI machine, and they can, based on your doctor's, I guess you could say, request, they can find out what's going on with that muscle in your calf that's been more than just pulled. What's going on with that lower part of your back? Is there a disc protruding, or is there something else? Why is that then affecting what might be in your thigh or your hip, like that's happened to me over the years? Find out where it is. Why is it creating a problem? And it might not even be, it's part of your lower back creating other problems. Knee, you hear about knee surgeries, ACL, MCL, all that. You hope that's not the case. But MRIs also could be other parts of your body too, and they can do it. And for just $497 or less every single time. Dr. Rob Maxey, I've been in that machine 4 times. It has been a really good experience, and I'm claustrophobic. They do a great job of getting you at ease. Where they put the headsets on and some banger music, hard rock, or maybe it's some damn good Journey. And then they put a little cloth over my eyes, and I'm claustrophobic, but every time it's been smooth, and $497 at idealmri.com.
Established in 2007 and independently owned, Alliance Bank Central Texas is committed to helping families and businesses meet their financial goals. From their tellers to their board of directors, they know the importance of superior service and competitive products. Customers have confidence knowing that their financial needs are in good hands. It's your bank, Alliance Bank Central Texas, with 2 Waco locations, 4721 Bosque Boulevard and 191 Archway Drive on Highway 84, and at alliancebanktexas.com. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Pizza, burgers, and Bears football. There's no place around Waco that serves them all other than Bubba's 33. Come show your green and gold and enjoy some of Waco's best food and beverages while watching your favorite team, the Bears. When real Bears fans get hungry, Bubba's 33 is the #1 spot for ice-cold drinks, hand-stretched, stone-baked pizzas, and bacon-infused burgers. Join us for indoor or patio dining. Bubba's 33, Waco's restaurant and proud supporter of Baylor Bears football. Sick 'em, Bears.
Have you heard of the new IRA? The new IRA, Insured Retirement Advantage, is a solution for high-income individuals and business owners who want to grow and protect their wealth without locking up capital or taking unnecessary risks. If you're an asset manager or a licensed insurance agent looking to provide your clients with guaranteed tax-free retirement income and legacy protection, the new IRA Insured Retirement Advantage is an option you need to know more about and is only available exclusively from Northstar Funding Partners. For more information, go to northstarfundingpartners.com and tell them 365 Sports sent you.
Ready to take your business to the next level? Carrion Solutions has got you covered. We deliver world-class IT consulting, including Quest On Demand and Migration Manager, M365 and Exchange migrations, Active Directory assessments, security hardening, and Windows Server upgrades. Our experts specialize in consulting, monitoring, support, and managed IT services. We promise vision, professionalism, and unbeatable value. Satisfaction guaranteed. If you're not happy, we make it right. Remember the name Carrion Solutions. For more info, email sales@carrionsolutions.com or visit carrionsolutions.com. That's CARRION solutions.com. Carrion Solutions IT success guaranteed.
This is Richard Carr, and it's hard to believe, but 2025 marks our 26th year in the car business. I want to thank you for your support over the last 26 years. As a locally owned business, our customers in Central Texas community are also friends and neighbors. If you haven't been by lately, I invite you to come in and experience our amazing lineup of Buick, GMC, and Cadillac vehicles. Our goal is to make you feel like more than just a customer, but as a valued neighbor. Let us show you why we are people you can count on at Richard Carr, Buick, GMC, Cadillac.
Remember when you had a guy, someone who could fix anything? They're still out there at Batteries Plus. With their quick solutions and expert advice on batteries, key fobs, and phone repair, Batteries Plus will have you in and out and on your way in no time. Batteries Plus, the experts in charge.
U.S. Navy midshipman football fan. My dad graduated from there in 1953, Blake, and I get emotional. I went there because in a way I did through my father. I love the way you play the game. And I'm so glad to have you on and just to kind of pick your brain on many, many things. What's it like right now in Annapolis, Maryland?
I mean, well, weather-wise, it's getting cold, so that's always best part of the year. But it's nice, Christmas coming around. But I think it's exciting right now. Being in Annapolis, getting ready for the Army-Navy game, people are excited, and that's always how you want it to be, right? You don't want to have a bad season and then people aren't looking forward to it, right? It's better when both teams are really good, like last year, especially. I mean, come to this game and have a really exciting game.
So can you explain that week for those who don't? We had Sheil Wood, who's the defensive coordinator at Texas Tech now, had a couple of years when he coached at Army. And he's been around, and now he's at Texas Tech. And I tried to ask him to explain that week, but it was kind of during COVID, 20 and 21, so it wasn't quite the same. They didn't get quite the same feeling, although they were on post at West Point. But what is it really like, Blake, that experience?
Yeah, so there's two experiences I really think about. There's a brigade Army-Navy week sort of experience, and then there's the football team as well, right? I'll start with football-wise, right? That's going to be just like any other rivalry week around the country, right? It's just, practice is a little bit higher intensity, right? You're focusing on the details even more than you do the rest of the season, right? Everything's under a microscope, and so it's just you want to play the game already, right? It feels like it's too long, taking too long from now. What, like 9 more days or 8 more days until we're getting ready to play? So. You just want to be here already. And then from the brigade side, right, we do a lot of celebrations for the Army-Navy game and also some pranks as well. The whole school starts pulling pranks on, we have exchange cadets from Air Force and Army. And so, we have Air Force Week and Army Week. And so the midshipmen here in Annapolis, we pull some pranks around the yard on the Army cadets. So it's sort of funny.
So this is a good football team again that you have, and guys were right. You've had a great run. I know you've had to battle an injury, but it seemed like everything's now fine with the game against Memphis, which was a really nice win. What were the expectations of Navy, in your opinion, this football team entering the year?
I think we had really high expectations for ourselves, right? And that's something we really hadn't had around here in a while. Going back to 2019 when they had a really nice season, but there hadn't been a lot of continued success, right? They had the one season in 2019, and then 2020 came around, and we sort of disappointed again. And so I think this year we wanted to sort of change, that tune and wanted to manage expectations like we hadn't in the past. And so, I think all off season and all preseason and camp and such, it's been different standard, a different level of execution, in all aspects of this team. And so, I think we knew in spring camp, that we could be special if, we took care of our business. And so coming back with, the entire backfield coming back and a lot of defensive starters. And we knew we had young guys to fill positions where we lost contributors. So, we were excited for this season, and we're excited for the way it's panned out so far, and excited to cap it off the right way.
So, obviously everyone knows, and they think about the service academies as the teams that run the ball, run the ball, run the option, whatever the style that has been that way forever. And a lot of it was because that's what was the best thing to run. And at times just, and still brilliant, but you're obviously different. Keenan Reynolds and some of the great names. I'm back in the day, Roger Staubach. I'm old enough, was unbelievable, but there haven't been a lot of dual threat type guys. What was the recruitment with you like? I think we just lost you. You just lose him?
Am I still here?
Oh, there we go. So
sorry.
We know about the service academies and the option, the bone, whatever it is, triple, but it's different now. What was it like with your recruitment, the Navy, with Brian, with Coach Newberry?
Yeah, so I was recruited still under the old head coach, Coach Ken. And so it was, I ran the triple option in high school, funny enough. And so I was, I knew I could throw. I had playing a quarterback, but I didn't really put it on film, truthfully. We only threw the ball, I think, 60 times my senior year. So it was a little weird overall. But coming in here, I had to develop as a passer at a college level. Truthfully, I was not at a college level coming into this institution. And so one of the biggest people that helped me out with that was Coach Cronick and Coach Jasper. They really helped, elevate just my understanding of the passing game, be able to read defenses and know where to go. And then also a lot of the credit goes to the guys we got in this team, right? It wasn't, it's not just any great throws every single time, right? Guys are making insane catches, great plays, catch and runs with Brandon Chapman, Eli Heidenreich, all our X receivers, our wide receivers out there. So they're all doing great things and helped me out immensely and to grow and just be comfortable in our passing game. So I came here, under the understanding I'd just be running the old triple option all the time. And, I'm glad to see how the offense has developed.
Did you get a bunch of texts from friends or family or whoever after that game with Air Force when it seemed like it was air raid left and right, the way you guys both threw the ball the way you did?
Yeah, I think a lot of people were surprised by just, the yardage that was put up and the points that were put up as well. People always like to talk about the unders, if we're talking betting in those games, but I think it was an offensive explosion on both sides. And so a lot of people were surprised, right? We set 2 records that day with Eli Heidenreich breaking the single game receiving record. And then I had the single game total yardage record. So I think people were a little bit surprised to see Navy putting up 340 passing yards in a game, but it was really fun to be a part of. Honestly, that game's one of my favorites I played in.
I had to kind of keep looking. Like I was watching, I got the multi-view, and I'm like, wait a minute, because it was awesome, and it's still, even if you didn't throw the ball once, I just love the way you guys have played. This is from Coach Newberry. I asked him. I've known him. He was at Baylor. Obviously, I had him on this show. We're in Waco, even though we're a national college football show. Blake is one of the smartest players I've ever been around. Qualities that you cannot coach. The it factor raises the confidence and level of play of the guys around him. He's going to be a pilot, which I just heard about, which is going to be something we discussed. But what does that mean when you're coaching? I'm sure he's told you a lot, but what does that mean when you hear that from your coach?
It feels great, truthfully, just to always have someone that believes in you. And he's done a great job of turning this program around. And he's an easy guy to play for, right? Because he's a great motivator. He's great at his job. And so, it's just what I try to bring to the table, right? Is, those intangible qualities that, can't always be measured by a stat sheet, right? It's how do you elevate the guys around you? It's how do you stay calm in pressure situations to, make sure everybody right across the whole organization knows that everything's going to be all right and that they can trust you, right? Because I think everything operates a little bit smoother when you can trust the guy who's under center. So it's awesome to have support and belief like that.
Go back to being a pilot. You gotta have great vision. You have to have great instincts and a lot of things. What's that? How much have you flown? And what is that going to be? Is that almost like directing an offense?
Yeah, I think it will be like that, and being under center and being in control, right? And so haven't done, any flights myself, but we've gotten to ride in a lot of different aircraft, right? Whether it be helicopters or planes. So we'll see how that goes, hopefully looking forward to being in Pensacola next year in flight school.
Oh, yeah, the naval base. Now, okay, so when did that get into your blood, or when did that become something that you wanted like that? Because to me, again, I became a part of the Air Force. I was a military brat. The pilots were just like, man, that they were special. They always had the fast cars too, by the way. not just because of Top Gun. It was that way wherever I was on a military base. When did that get into your blood?
Yeah, I did not come from a military background, and so my recruiting process to Naval Academy also was sort of quick, and they introduced me to really what all the military service was like afterwards. And so I came in here sort of clean slate, no idea what I wanted to do afterwards in the military, in the Navy or the Marine Corps. And then I had the opportunity to go and expand and learn from a lot of the different communities, right? We've spent time with the Marine Corps while we've been here, Navy pilots, on submarines, right, on ships. We've spent time sort of exploring each community, and it allows you to gain a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of their culture, their climate, and sort of what everyone's like. And you get to grow and learn and learn yourself and develop and see what community you want to fit into the most, right? It's not about what you'll be doing all the time, right? It's about the community of the people you're going to be spending time with and what they're like. And that's what drew me to the aviation community more than anything. This is the quality of people they had there.
So you have had to deal with the injury, but you played against Memphis. Mentioned that. What was that like for you? Did you get nervous that you thought you might be shut down?
Absolutely. I'm a competitor in every sense. And, you know, I don't want to feel like I'm letting people down if I can't compete out there. And so whenever you can't compete, whenever you get injured and you can't, you know, play in a game, it's difficult because you want to, you know, you want to be out there. You want to represent your team well, but at the same time, you don't want to hurt your team's chances to win if you're facing an injury like that. And so, you know, it's stuff we talk about with our coaches and training staff all the time, and just making sure I'm staying healthy, doing the right things. And so, you know, if there is a time I'm not playing, it's probably because it's a pretty severe injury that's hindering our chances of winning the game, right? And that's the goal at all. You know, it's not about personal gain. It's all about, you know, sharing those team wins. And so if I can't help the guys do that, then, you know, I shouldn't be out there on the field.
Have you watched Haynes King at Georgia Tech play?
Absolutely. Yeah, he's really good.
I bring that up because I was just talking to Scott Strassmeyer about that you remind me your style. And I know his father. I've known Haynes since he was a high school player at Longview, and tough as you know what. And I see that in you as well. When you watch him play, what do you see?
I mean, one of the most fun games I think I've watched in the past year was that last year Georgia Tech game. 8 overtimes at night. I'm sure everyone in the country was watching that one. But just like you said, the toughness, right? When you're in a position where you know the intricacies that are going on behind the scenes of a quarterback, right, of any job, right, you have a little bit more respect when you see someone doing it at a high level like he does. And so just the toughness, the way that he runs and commands that offense in a great conference like the ACC, but then also against high-level SEC talent a lot of times of the year, is really impressive. And so I'm super impressed by him and everything he's done there.
Yeah. You guys remind me of each other. I'm a Heisman voter. I can't talk about it, but there's no doubt. I'll tell you this. I'll be honest. I know who's on my radar, and your name has been on my radar, and I'm just not saying that because I'm interviewing you, but also Haynes King, because you guys remind me of the same type player. A couple more things. What does it mean to be a midshipman?
I think it's a special thing to be a midshipman, right? It's you have a chance to be part of a great legacy that's been passed down from generations, right? Since 1845 when we opened here. And so it's a special thing to know all those people that have gone before you and done great things and sort of set the standard for what you should be in life and as a person more than anything. And so to be able to add to that legacy, I think is a great thing, right? To be in an institution with such a great history that you have the chance to leave your own mark on it is amazing. And then to also share that with the rest of your classmates and to be able to grow together and you know, hopefully, just represent this institution well while you're here. And then whenever you leave, just be a proud graduate and, you know, root everybody on. And then, you know, just be a military officer the best you can.
Who had the biggest impact on your life, if it's maybe 1, 2, or 3 people, and why?
Yeah, I think the people that I think of the most are my parents and just the way they raised me and just everything they taught me. I think a lot of my character and what I learned in life goes back to them. From the first time I started playing sports, right, they told me, they're like, this is, you know, good. If you're sports, great, right? But the thing that means more is your character and your personality and how you treat people. People remember, that if you played well in a sport for a few years, right? But they'll remember how you did them the rest of your life. And so that's just something that I think I've always lived by. And, just a lot of what I am as a leader and as a person has just come from that base foundation of what they've grown up teaching me. And so they've definitely meant the most to me in my life.
Blake Horvath, the quarterback at Navy, Coach Newberry, he does not tie his identity to being a football player or the success he's had. Has grown much as a player, of course. Great human, beloved in the community and among his classmates, midshipmen, not because of your football success, but because of how you treat and interact people. But isn't that the definition of being a military officer?
Absolutely. And I think, with any athlete, right, growing up that plays in this sport, especially, you tie your performance, your identity with your performance, right? And I think I've learned here more than anything is that you're going to fail. You're going to fail a lot. And if you're tying your identity to your performance, right, it affects your interactions with people. It affects how you lead. It affects all that stuff, right? You talk about being a great military officer. And so, I think it's about, grounding yourself and being humble, one, but two is finding that identity through faith in your family and your friends and the people you spend time with. because those would mean the most, and that's, you know, who your legacy is going to be left with. And so I think overall those are the things that really, you know, the more grounded you are, the more understanding you have of your people and your unit and your team. And so I think, like you said, that's the baseline of just being a great military officer, is understanding your people.
My last thing, you have won the Army-Navy game. You had a huge game last year. You've been in it. You've experienced it. What is it like, the walk? You get practice and all that, but then you have both military academies and all the classmates, they walk onto this. It's amazing. It's amazing, the ceremony. What's it like right before kickoff, and then what is the feeling like when you win that game?
I think it's surreal, just the whole game, and being able to be in front of 80,000 people in an NFL stadium. Meanwhile, you know, 4,000 of them are your classmates. It's really, really cool. And so to be able to run out there on that field right before the game, you know, stands are full, and just to look up and see the flyovers of, you know, of Navy aircraft and Army aircraft on both sides. You sort of got to take a moment to just take it in, and, you know, you can't let the moment get too big. And, you know, it's a blessing that we get to play this game, and that, you know, we get to play in games that big in front of people that care that much about us. And, you know, hopefully we can, the biggest thing we hope is to bring them joy through our play and through the outcome. And so, you know, that's what it's all for, right? It's not for the individual, you know, feeling after the game, but really the shared feeling that we can bring to the whole alumni, the whole, you know, students, the brigade midshipmen, and to everybody.
But the intensity of the game, and yet what you're playing for, and then who you are, and all your others classmates, who they are, and knowing what you're going to do in the future, that's unbelievable, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think it just, you know, we say it a lot, but we have so much respect for what the other academies do, and for any veteran, and for any active duty military member, right? And so we understand what the military academy students will be going through right after we all get out. And so there's so much respect from that aspect. And for one day a year, or 2 days with the Air Force game as well, but for one day a year, right, we get to all come together and sort of be enemies for, you know, severely in that moment, and just, you know, represent institutions much bigger than ourselves, right? There's 22 guys on the field, but you're representing something so much bigger, and it's really, really special.
Hilliard, Darby High School in Hilliard, Ohio, midshipman, Navy quarterback, future pilot, Blake Horvath, one of the best players in college football. Thank you, young man, for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Blake Horvath with me on 365 Sports.
A lot of questions as to where people can find the best supplements.
And that's why we have the Swell Score, because we have created this platform where our team of researchers and doctors have come together to bring top-notch quality supplements and information.
We make sure that if we are recommending a product, that it hasn't been reviewed by the same company that is producing that product.
Now we have a resource that we can do that.
That's far.
So much forgiveness. Wait, did you say forgiveness like far, or forgiveness like forgiveness? Forgiveness. Forgiveness. Forgiveness.
I'm hearing far.
Forgiveness. Like forgiveness. Forgiveness? Forgiveness.
I'm still hearing far, but whatever.
Introducing Stealth 2 with more carbon for more forgiveness.
Forgiveness. Just hit it.
Tailor-made golf.
Lily was falling 10 times a day, covered in bruises. She would run just straight into a pole, right? It was a disaster. She would fall down the stairs all the time. She just could not navigate her environment. 8 weeks after starting functional mushrooms, she was assessed developmental age for physical therapy and no longer required that service.
Thanks for joining us today. That's a wrap.
Peace, love, and mushrooms.
Peace, love, and mushrooms. Rashad, you got me.
GetUmbo.com.
All right.
Let's unbox the all-new Walking Pad X21. It is the hottest thing on the fitness market right now. Whew. I like it. I like it a lot. Well done, Walking Pad. So after using the Walking Pad, I absolutely loved it. For the price, I adore it. I highly recommend it.
Welcome, guys. You're at the 10th Mountain Whiskey and Spirit Company tasting room here. So we're located in basically central Colorado in the Rocky Mountains. Our two flagship whiskeys are our rye whiskey and our bourbon.
10th Mountain Whiskey and Spirit Company, Colorado.
This is Paul Catalina's Top 5.
Welcome into Paul Catalina Top 5. Well, it appears that Matt Campbell on his way to finally fill the Penn State job. And we're going to talk about possible replacements here on the Top 5, brought to you by Flag and Anthem. Go to flagandanthem.com. Use our promo code 365sports for a discount at checkout. So let's dive into top 5 potential Matt Campbell replacements at Iowa State. Number 5, Jason Candle from Toledo. Guess where Matt Campbell came from? Toledo. Jason Candle's had a lot of success there. Love that offense that they run. And with quarterbacks that they've been able to develop there, if they can keep Rocco Becht, if they can keep developing and bringing in those type of guys, that could be really fun in the Big 12 with Jason Candle's offensive system that he could bring in to Ames. Number 4, Tyson Helton at Western Kentucky, a quarterback guru. And if you watch this, you know how much I love quarterback gurus, guys who can take quarterbacks that are under-recruited, under-coached, mislabeled, and turn them into superstars. And look, Iowa State's mainly been built on the run game and the defense, but man, wouldn't it be fun for the fans to see this wide open Western Kentucky offense in Ames, especially when you play Iowa? Oh, come on. That would be super fun. Tyson Helton should get a look for this job. Number 3, Ryan Beard at Missouri State. Really done a great job. Young up-and-coming coach. Perfect fit for Jamie Pollard and the boys in Ames. Offensive system great. Defensive system great. He is going to get a Power 5 job or Power 4 job sooner rather than later. Make the big move. It's not a big move by most standards, but I think it's a big move in showing confidence in a young coach who's got a ton of potential. Now, as we get to number 2, I'm going to stop down and talk a little bit longer on these two. Kirby Moore is the offensive coordinator at Mizzou right now. He is the brother of Kellen Moore, the head coach of the New Orleans Saints. There is a lot of thought that he might go and join his brother in New Orleans this coming season, or he might wait around for a college head coaching job. His offense is great. It's kind of similar to what Iowa State's been doing for the last few years, a little bit more wide open. He knows how to recruit playmakers. He knows how to bring talent in. He's been in the SEC now. This is a really good fit for Iowa State as they look to make a move and stay relevant in the Big 12. It's been tough for them, but Jamie Pollard and Matt Campbell really created something special where a team this year in Iowa State who would have a decade ago killed for an 8-4 season is this year disappointed in an 8-4 season because they thought they had the potential to win the league. And number 1, Sean Lewis. You like big defense at Ames? Guess what? Sean Lewis, an offensive mind you. His team runs one of the best defenses in the country at San Diego State. He is enthusiastic. He's also a great offensive mind. He is ready for the big job. He is absolutely ready for the big job, and I think he would do fantastic at Iowa State. Now, look, I understand ripping somebody out of the city of San Diego is a tough thing to do. The fire department agrees with me. If you can hear that in the background, which I'm sure you can. But for this job in a power conference with the chance to be at the top of the league almost right away, especially if you can retain guys like Rocco Becht and the like, Sean Lewis, to me, fantastic fit for Iowa State. And we'll see what Jamie Pollard has up his sleeve. That's going to do it for the top 5. It's time for the Carnival. While the wheel is spinning, I'll remind you, nothing official yet, but nothing has come down to dissuade anything, and most of the movers and shakers in the newsbreaker realm are saying it. That it's pretty much just going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Andrew. Who's on the Big 12 Mount Rushmore for this season? Can be players or coaches. So my Big 12 Mount Rushmore this season, and this is the last time we'll utter those words on this show of Mount Rushmore. I would say Joe McGuire and Kalani Sitake as the two coaches. That I would put up there. I would put, I'm going to put Jacob Rodriguez up there. And
how many? There's only four.
There's four.
So
I'm going to put Jacob Rodriguez, and then I want to put somebody from another team that's been really, really good that's not in the championship, so I don't just lock it into the two best teams.
So you
in
said
the league.
Sitake, Joey, and Rodriguez.
Because I think he's the best linebacker in the entire country. So he has to be up there.
He's going to win 3 or 4 awards. You wonder, because we know what defensive players in the Heisman. And Ndamukong Suh just basically forced him, willed his way. If Rodriguez goes nuts tomorrow, I wonder if it's enough. Because some guys are just stuck in their ways. Even like I'm 66, I don't mind putting someone in defensive player or whatever if it works out.
The last one's going to be, and because he's going to be the highest draft pick and he's the best player
Tyson?
When he's healthy, it's going to be Jordan Tyson. He's the best player in the league. He's the best player in the league when he's healthy.
But
he was injured, but like when he played, I mean, you couldn't do anything about him.
Matt Campbell news?
No, that was that's the bad.
You guys are starting to get a little fancy for me. Let's see. Sitake and Joey. Oh, I could go the opposite with like Gundy, Aranda.
That's not really the Mount Rushmore.
I know. I am trying to think of a player that stands out and who was the story of the conference? Garrett.
To me, it was Houston. Houston was the story of the conference.
9-win season, second year for Willie.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, we would have asked that question. It was no doubt Arizona State.
Right.
Yeah.
It was Kenny Dillingham and Levitt or whoever else. I don't know, man. That's, I got to be honest, when I saw L.J. Martin's name as the offensive player of the year, who could be, I was like, I was not taken aback by that. I said, okay. But I started thinking all the other quarterbacks, Morton was solid, but never really was ever brought up. And I'm not saying he would be on Mount Rushmore. Was never really brought up like Hoover and Becht and Bachmeier and Sawyer Robertson, name them. And then Levitt got hurt. Fafita, of course, ended up being the first. I don't know. Are there 4?
I mean, there's 4 faces. So Andrew backed us into this corner. We've got to claw our way out of it. And I'll explain why you're thinking about it. Mount Rushmore is a thing that a lot of sports talk shows do in the summer, and we've never really done it before.
No. The very first week I was on the air with you in 2010, and the phone lines, they go crazy. The phone lines go crazy.
But it's not like the reason you do it as a topic for all day is you have nothing else to talk about, and you have to spin through something.
Yeah.
And we've always strived to, even on days where there's nothing to talk about theoretically, we find something to talk about so we don't have to do it. I'm not knocking Andrew. He doesn't know this rule. He's young.
You could do this on talk radio during the summer. You could do a Mount Rushmore of 38 different things and get a billion calls.
Yeah.
Who are we missing? Let me go to
I didn't say L.J. Martin. I didn't say Bear Bachmeier. I didn't say Baron Morton. I didn't say,
Hold on.
David Bailey. I mean, I'm still sticking to the other two. I didn't say Willie
David
Fritz.
Bailey is what Lance Owens said.
Yeah.
I don't see many other, because they're all still talking about military vehicles and planes and helicopters from the Blake Horvath. How come that someone doesn't just stand out for me? Is it because Who was the best quarterback? Fafita, Baron Morton. I'm not saying this because Kim will throw a fit, but he did seem like constantly we were talking about everybody else but him.
I think Fafita was the best quarterback all year long.
Okay, but I don't think he's on Mount Rushmore. I don't know. I think we're going to have to just have three of them.
So who are your three?
Oh, I thought we agreed on Sataki.
No, I
and
was
Joe.
mine and
yours. No, I got it. I damn sure have it. Kalani Sataki and Joey McGuire, Jacob Rodriguez, and Cody Campbell.
Yeah.
And by the way, Tech fans, don't go. I know he's not the only one, but my God, how an impact did he had.
Here's what he's done, though. He's rallied the other ones.
Yes, he has.
He's rallied the other ones. Okay.
Yeah.
To the trivia questions now.
Wigman, the Cincinnati quarterbacks. No.
To the trivia questions now.
Oh, I'm sorry. How come I never
put
get
those
to
hearing
read these
aids
anymore?
back in?
I got them in. Look,
okay. This future Hall of Famer and was a USFL star with the Houston Gamblers.
I know this, Jim Kelly.
Yes, it was. Let's see. Steve Young was the LA Galaxy. Yes, Jim Kelly.
Go back.
I want to go through. Yeah. Steve Young was the LA Galaxy.
No, he was with the Tampa Bay Band. No, was it? Yeah, you're right.
He was the LA Galaxy.
Yeah.
Herschel
LA
Walker
Express.
was the Journal. LA Express.
Yeah.
LA Galaxy was the new one. LA Express. Herschel Walker was with the Generals, and now President Trump.
Doug Williams was with San Antonio, or was it? He wasn't with. Was it the Gunslingers or?
I had a gunslinger shirt that
Jim Kelly was no doubt the Houston Texans. Herschel was
I gotta look that one up. But yes, it was.
Let me tell you about Jim Kelly. Go ahead.
That
Doug Williams.
Yeah, that Football for a Buck book by Jeff Perlman. People have to read it. But yeah, let's go ahead and read about.
Jim Kelly played in the USFL Houston Gamblers in 1984. The Upstart League launched in '83. Attracted Kelly, Herschel Walker, Reggie White, who played for. Reggie White was with the Memphis Showboats.
Yeah,
Steve Young, innovative rules, and Kelly excited the Gamblers run and shoot offense before heading to Buffalo, where he took the Bills to 4 consecutive Super Bowls. I was in Lufkin, Texas. My first ever professional job was at KTRE in Lufkin, Nacogdoches, and I covered the Gamblers like a blanket. They had some Ricky Sanders. They had there's a guy named Todd Fowler from Van High School who played with the Cowboys. Remember, eventually? He was a running back, but he was a tight end at Stephen F. Austin. I loved to do that. I'd go down. I'd send my features to ESPN back before they got to be as big as they were, and they ran a lot of my stories on the Gamblers.
Okay, so he was with the Oklahoma/Arizona Outlaws.
Who?
Doug Williams.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, that one was one of the ones. I bought a San Antonio Gunslinger shirt because they are, by far, and this is through a lot of terribly run sports franchises, they are the worst run sports franchise in the history of American sports franchises.
Yeah.
They're okay. Real. This NFL legend once led the league in passing, punting, and interceptions in a single season. Was it Sid Luckman, Slinging Sammy Baugh, Otto Graham, or Y.A. Tittle?
Sammy Baugh.
You think it's Sammy Baugh?
Wheelhouse.
I think it's Y.A. Tittle.
I think it's Sammy Baugh.
Okay.
Look at that great logo, by the way.
Let's see who's right. There he goes, slinging
Sammy Baugh once, I think, led the NFL in punting with an average of about 50-something yards a punt. Slinging Sammy Baugh transformed the quarterback role in the 40s and 50s. In 43 rosters depleted by the World War II, he often played all 60 minutes, led the league. Think about this. Led the league in passing, punting, interceptions, 11 picks. In one game against Detroit, he threw 4 touchdowns, intercepted 4 passes, and launched an 81-yard punt. What a Hall of Famer, Sammy Baugh. Slinging Sammy Baugh.
That is, that's maybe the best individual game in league history.
He was amazing.
Let's go to the poll questions. I think there's some controversy on one of these, right,
Really?
Andrew? There's some controversy. There's some heat in the comments, right?
By the way,
maybe. Okay.
Sammy Baugh was from Rotan, Texas, if you didn't know that. Yep.
Who wins the Big Ten championship game? 62% picked Ohio State. 38% are right and went with me, Indiana.
Hoosiers.
Yeah, I'm going to the Hoosiers. So It's
Good
just a
looking
hunch.
colors, man.
It's
Look
just
at
a
the,
hunch.
I just love red or silver and white. I'd love those colors.
Yeah.
One of these days, do you think we'll ever put the logo of Nebraska in the Big Ten championship game?
I hope so for your sake.
What'd you say, Garrett?
Garrett's here to clip
Such
your
a
wings.
hateful human being.
Clip your wings.
All right.
Okay, next poll question. Oh, you haven't done the other one yet.
Gerald McNeil was in the USFL. Go ahead.
Which G6 team punches its CFP ticket? 54% took North Texas, and 46% took.
I think they
Green
have too
Wave.
much firepower.
Yeah.
I picked the Mean Green with Eric Morris and Mestamaker and all the others.
Yeah. What Andrew, I thought we were doing there was a Christmas poll. Is that just we're waiting for later? That's for later?
Wait a
Okay.
minute. Okay, Christmas poll. When should you even recognize it? When should you put up the tree or the lighting?
We did that one, didn't we?
Oh, that's right.
You may not have been here.
I was here. Remember, Amanda then texted me.
Yeah.
She was so pissed.
No, Andrew has a poll about what's the greatest Christmas song. And I think in the comments, we've got some generational divides over what it is. And so,
okay,
I'm
I'm 66, and all of you combined don't reach my age. Brandon, what's your favorite Christmas? Are we not doing it now?
No, we're not doing it now. It's
okay.
So we'll get to it eventually. It just I thought it was going to be today, but yeah, I'm very interested to know how this comes out because already Andrew was saying there's some heat on this one in the polls. People are getting mad and arguing about it, or accusing Andrew of maybe being the poll creator of being too young. So
yeah, well, he is. He's 16, getting ready to get his license and stuff.
Yeah, but no.
Logan, how old is Logan?
Logan's 31. No, he's
22, 25. Garrett
25.
is older. Brandon's 24, 5.
Yeah.
Paul, you're 44,
45.
Damn.
Yep.
I told you all you guys together don't reach my 66.
I'm on the backside now. Before we go, LeBron James only scored 8 points last night. It's the first time in forever that he scored in single digits, and he's going to miss. This is how you know you're in your 40s. He missed all the first part of the season with sciatica, and
isn't that a great band?
Yeah, that's when you have back pain, sciatica, and then he's missing tonight with arthritis.
Okay.
So,
he's probably missing tonight because he didn't keep that record going, and that's kind of what he does. He like George Pickens last night for the Cowboys in their loss in Detroit, kind of half-assed it.
Yeah, but you know who else has done that a couple times in his career? 88 on the other side.
Oh no, yeah, no, that was scary when his arms go up because you got to be careful. You don't get more than just a concussion.
But yeah, I knew. By the way, the all-new Catalina's Cowboys Corner is launched this week, and relaunched this week.
Garrett, we launched the Cowboys Corner this week.
Yeah. Smokey, let's not get into the particulars.
No,
of this.
I'm not trying
to. It doesn't matter.
You do good at that. I didn't know that. See, we don't ever share enough of our information.
Well, I'm friggin' trying to.
I'll watch it tonight.
Let me finish the sentence once in your life.
No, you were getting upset because I was acting like it started late.
Yeah, no. So we launched it this week. I talked to RJ Ochoa, and one of the things we talk about on that talk is the Cowboys don't have an institutional philosophy. They have an infinite number of institutional philosophies. So like the Eagles have one philosophy is we're going to do this. And when we have a window, we're going to go all out. And then we're going to clean house. And then we're going to go all out again. And the Steelers have an organizational philosophy. Now, do they need to make a bend in the river a little bit and do something different? Maybe, but at least they're not looking at the football philosophies for dummies and taking one thing from chapter 1, one thing from chapter 12, another thing from chapter 18, and just going with it all and trying to combine it. So all the good, we'll see what happens. But the Cowboys are not going to make the playoffs now, more than likely. So
well, Philly's still in a free fall. They play Monday night against LA Chargers.
But if they've got to win out, and they need help now.
Cowboys?
Yes, they've got to win out.
I thought they would win last night. You and I text. It's almost like a little bit weird the way we text during Cowboys games. Well, no, the tie. That might help Dallas, right?
They've got it. Well, it might, but they still need help. They don't control anything other than winning the games that they have, and
so they got to make up 2.5 games or 2, 6-1 and 8-4.
Yeah, they got to.
Philadelphia plays Monday night, so we'll see.
We'll see. It's just
if they would have beaten Detroit, they're going to win the East.
But here's the thing: if Philly wins one more time, then they're screwed even
almost
more.
like blocked out. Yeah, with only 4 to go. All right, thank you, Garrett Ross. See you tomorrow. Thank you, Brandon Rowe. Thank you, Andrew Valade. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you to Logan Utah. Okay, when
Logan
is he going to be here too?
Yeah, he'll be there tomorrow.
Well,
yeah.
Craig Smoak, good luck, young man. Love you. Enjoy just getting better. We'll hope to see you Monday. Paul Catalina, see you tomorrow. I'm going to drive up to Arlington tonight and go eat at Papados or something like that. So tomorrow, 9 to 10:30, we'll have our thanks to Saving College Sports and also Edward Jones Financial Advisors locally, and other sponsors will be on tomorrow at AT&T Stadium. Good luck to your teams this weekend. I'm David Smoak for Paul. Good night on 365 Sports.